All right, I got Chick-fil-A that arrived. I'm late.
Are we done? Or are we?
Well,
I guess so.
Should we do like an intro? Or I have
Yeah,
voicemails too.
Yeah, we should do like a quick intro to it.
I also
Quick
have
intro. We also got to do ads,
ads,
and then
I have
And then voicemails.
yeah, and
Billy,
then voicemails.
You want to bring
your
your Chick-fil-A back?
Yeah. Come on, Billy.
Billy just ended the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Billy.
I want that in.
Yeah.
I want that in.
Yeah, Billy's just like, I'm out. I'm done. All right, let's start the show. I guess that can be, maybe that's the start of the show.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a cold open
The
if
end
I've
of
ever
the
seen one.
the end of the show is the start of the show.
Yeah, Billy walking out on the show after the bare minimum amount of podcasting done. Welcome back to Macrodosing. It's the only podcast that you can find online, so you have no choice but to listen to it. Thank you for tuning in. We've got Coley, we've got Big T, we've got Billy, we've got Mad Dog, we've got Avery here. No Arian today. Arian is off doing, I think he's just incapacitated today in one form or another. It is MLK Day, so if he just straight up wanted to ghost us and be like, fuck you, I'm not working, I would understand that. But regardless, just us today. And we're going to be getting into Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos with Ryen Russillo as a special guest. He is our Arian Foster for today. He is our Arian. Ryen, with noted Arian, Ryen Russillo, to discuss Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos and all the fraud that was perpetrated there. It was a good talk. We talked about a lot of other stuff besides the subject at hand, which is probably what you've come to expect from us by now. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you guys here. This is not an ad, by the way. I know that's how I usually start the ads, but I had a question for Coley that I was afraid to ask publicly. But we're in the circle of trust right now. What does P stand for?
You think I'm almost at the age where that question I would be like, what are you talking about? The person who came up with the term "gunna" has gone on an explaining rampage to the point where I don't think it means anything anymore. Pretty much everything is and is not P. It's Schrodinger's P.
No.
And it's are you pushing P?
Pushing.
That
Yeah.
ain't P. That ain't P.
So P is any word that starts with the letter P.
no.
Not even necessarily.
Because I've listened to the song a bunch, and it's all based around words.
They went heavy with the alliteration in the song for sure. I saw someone broke down analytically which of the three pushed the most P per verse.
So who is it?
I think it was Future. I think Future came out on top.
You can't-
I think
You can't get out P'd on your own P song.
Listen, when Future is involved, you're gonna get out anything. So that's just how that works. But I mean, the young thug went on he was trying to fly private, as he's wanted to do, and they kicked everyone off the plane.
That ain't P.
And he went live, and he said the pilot who kicked him off was not in fact P.
I tend to agree with him.
Yeah, they said he didn't really give an explanation, but yeah, Alex was not P. The other pilot was P. That pilot, I guess, was cool. He was actually fine with flying these gentlemen through our friendly skies, but Alex wasn't having it, and he's not P.
All right. So anything can be P.
Could you imagine trying to explain P to like a war veteran?
So P means like
like a guy that stormed the beach at
yeah,
Normandy?
like a guy who's like been through so much, and like now this thing called just P is out.
so P means like valid.
Yeah,
Can?
that's a great.
Yeah, it's like, are you pushing P?
Yeah,
Big T
valid.
saying that, not P.
Not P.
Okay, no, I am for sure P.
Maybe
I'm so P, it's out of control.
maybe
Big
Big T dodging the
He's Big
high
P.
noon can might be P.
He's big
Yeah,
P
that
right
was
now.
that was P.
That was P.
Throwing the can at your head,
Not
not
P.
P.
Okay. Let's think of some other P, no P.
Ryen Russillo later in this episode giving a lot of props to Steve Bannon, not P.
I think that might be P.
Right, yeah. Big T would
I
say it
think
was
Big
P.
T just has a definition of what P is.
the New York Rangers,
Not P.
P.
not P.
Like it
They are
depends.
pushing
No, it's
P.
like P is for the boys. That's how Gunna described it
Can I not?
specifically.
Can I not push?
No,
P?
like girls can be boys.
Like I'm for the boys.
No, I know that. I'm saying like chicks can be like boys is a non-gendered term at
Like if you're for the boys,
a lot
that's
of times,
non-gendered.
yeah.
Okay.
Boys has lost its gender meaning, much to Big
Being
P's
Well,
chagrin.
gender is a
inclusionary
spectrum.
is P.
Yes.
Being exclusionary is P.
No,
No, it's not
exclusionary
P.
would not be
Being
P.
being inclusive is very P.
Correct.
Do you think all right, so having a nice watch is P, but buying the watch is pushing P?
That's a Nick Avery.
Yeah. I think that's a fair way to say it.
Right.
Because if you just get a nice watch, then yeah, the watch itself is P, but you're not P.
Yeah.
But then if you go out and you buy the watch yourself,
Like you're at the Rolex store with like bands and you're buying the Rolex, that's
Yeah,
pushing
you know
P.
The whole P thing, it was funny on Friday night with my buddies, like when we were just saying it all the time, but now it's getting
I would love to
oh,
be
sorry, Billy. Sorry
Yeah,
that
no,
we
we
missed
ki- you killed
we
the
missed
joke.
Billy's window of when the joke was fun by 48 hours, and now we're so late on it, and we're nowhere near as funny as him and his boys on Friday.
I would love
well,
to
we-
be in more of Billy's group chats because I see what he puts in the one that I am in with him, and I would like to be in the ones with him and his friends to see what he's spewing in there.
I think
It's on the
podcasts
sidelines.
podcasts are P, all of them, every podcast.
We're the world's only podcast.
It's true.
So we
Sure.
are P. We're the most P.
my blood sugar's low. I need.
I'm getting a P expert to come into the to come into the room and explain.
Okay, Billy, eat your food.
Just be anyone.
Eat your food,
Trying
Billy.
to guess who I think this is.
Why can't you
Billy,
eat?
say words on a podcast.
Billy, eat your food.
We're not allowed to eat.
I'm giving you permission to eat. What kind of food is it? I can't. You say Chick-fil-A? Yeah, eat Chick-fil-A.
Not talking on a podcast.
Not
is-
P.
is
Not
Not P.
Who's coming in?
TJ, he's been posting about it nonstop.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Billy,
He
you're
is-
being
he's
subbed out.
P. TJ's P.
We're bringing in the righty. Billy,
Yep.
no, you're right. That's way too much sprinkling. Get out of here.
Yeah, that was insane.
Billy's benching himself. I think Billy did that on purpose, actually. He's like, fine, I'll
sure.
eat in here, and then just crumpled everything up.
Enjoy that sandwich, King.
So
Get TJ.
how's everybody doing today? Take the pulse of the show.
Good.
Feeling strong? Billy, get out of the room and stop crumpling. How's your vacation, Coley? I must apologize because last week I was hitting up Coley being like, hey, are you going to join the Zoom or what? I didn't realize that you were actively off the clock. I should have known after we got an email from Nate, who's the editor-in-chief when Coley's not the editor-in-chief.
Is that a thing that happened? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he sent an email out like explaining to us how to blog. And so we could only assume that meant that Coley was not around. So Nate was just like, he was just buzzing everybody's tower, letting us know who was in charge.
I also received one text message from Coley that said, the libs have paper straws down here in Florida. And I was, so when
Oh yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Florida and Big T's number one candidate, DeSantis, is not P.
well,
This
it's all
guy-
those ocean freaks that are like, if you use a plastic straw,
Yeah, but
it's going to
still,
end up in a
that
turtle's.
if he's crumbling to the slightest bit of pushback, like this guy's got no spine. He could be.
No,
that guy
he's-
might run
he's P.
left.
He's P for sure.
I've yet to see a P politician. I
No
don't think
politician?
You
I
haven't
don't think any
watched
of them
enough
exist yet.
DeSantis, bro. He's for sure P.
Arnold
This
Schwarzenegger?
place was a liberal
Former politician.
paradise.
That's P.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger's P.
Yeah,
Confirmed. Jesse Ventura, he's P.
for sure.
Yeah.
Jerry Springer P.
Oh, my boy Fetterman, Big P,
P, the dude from Pennsylvania?
the biggest.
Yeah, the biggest guy from Pennsylvania. P. Yeah, but what about Nancy Pelosi?
Not P. Decidedly not P.
Nancy Olosi is what I call her.
She's pulling P.
She's Bolosi with the B emoji.
Oh shit, I don't even know what
Let's
that
go.
means, but that was
Let's-
great. All right,
B's
so
out, P's in.
so you might be asking, whose voice is that? We hear a different voice on this podcast. Yes, it is TJ.
Hey, what's up?
TJ's here. What's up, TJ? TJ is the biggest Rutgers fan in the world.
Thank you.
He's also low-key a genius video editor.
Thank you.
Is that an accurate description?
I appreciate
What, if you were to tell somebody what your job is here at Barstool, what do you tell
that. I keep it P.
them? Okay.
We got the right guy.
Now, did anybody understand what that meant until last Friday?
I think Roan did, but
Okay.
Roan's definitely P, so that makes sense.
All right, gotcha. So explain to us. We're having a debate over what is and what isn't P.
Right.
And Big T is just taking us wildly off the rails with it because I don't think Big T knows what P is.
No, you're not P then.
You just said Ron DeSantis is P.
He is P.
I don't
He
care.
is, he's going to be the P resident.
If there's like the most diehard supporter of a politician, you can't be like, my guy's P.
Well, we're talking about P, and then you brought up a guy.
I don't want my
who's P.
politicians to be P.
I didn't know what P meant until 5 minutes ago, but
Okay.
now Ron DeSantis for sure P.
All right, so TJ, explain to us, walk us through.
Like the cultural importance.
Yeah.
So it's I believe Roan said it originates in Oakland, and then Young Thug and Gunna picked it up, and Future, and they just like made it a thing in the last like 2 weeks seemingly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just pushing P. It's just being player and being P.
And so is P, can we tie it, what's the word? Etymologically?
It's like if you like, you either have P or you don't. And if you ask, do I have P? That's not P.
I know, I get what P is.
Right.
And if you even try to explain what you're doing right now to us,
Right.
is probably not P.
Correct. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Putting P in your Twitter name though, that's P.
Yeah, there we go.
Of the 6 people in this, not including yourself, in this room and on this Zoom call, how many have P? You don't have to name them.
It's not have P, so you're definitely out. But
Okay, how many are pushing P?
probably 3.
Yeah, I would agree. Which 3?
Let's say PFT.
Hell yeah. I'm P, bitch.
You're just pandering.
Suck my dick.
And we're including the Zoom? Because Coley is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said on the Zoom.
Yeah.
Arian for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unless he's talking about Avatar. If he's on an Avatar rant.
The least P thing about him for sure.
Actually, no, he's switched up now. Now he's obsessed with Ready Player One. He's not even obsessed with Ready Player One. He's obsessed with making us
Other
watch
people having seen it.
Ready Player One.
I love the idea that Arian's only ever seen 2 movies. It's that tweet. What's the movie they talk about? He's like, I'm getting really big like Alice in Wonderland vibes from this.
I think Arian might sneaky just love every single movie, but he's only seen 2.
Yeah.
And he thinks that's what movies are.
That's me with Broadway. I've seen 2 things on Broadway. I love them both.
Oh, Book of Mormon and what else?
Hamilton.
Okay, I saw Book of Mormon on Friday. Amazing.
The one song I said would shock you.
The
Did
song
it shock you?
the Fuck You God song?
Yeah.
Asa Dika Imawe or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, great song. It didn't shock me. But I did, as they were singing that song, I was thinking to myself, I was imagining Big T in the audience watching it.
I was taken aback at some of the language.
Gradually, as the song reveals itself for what it is, Big T just like staring like Chris Farley when they tell him that it's not actual coffee, that it's instant, like slowly realizing what they're saying
No,
in the
like
song to God.
I knew what the play was about when I went to see it, and like that, none of that. It was just the terminology in that song was shocking.
Yeah, it was a very good play though. I love Broadway.
Is Broadway P?
Yeah, it can be.
I think musicals are. I don't know if like regular theater is.
I think
Like a
music.
play is not
plays.
a play isn't P, but a musical could be P.
I think that
Like Rock of Ages is.
you can have a play that's B for sure.
Yeah.
There might not be one that comes to mind right now, but
Like Rent. Like Rent is pretty P. Is that a play?
it's a musical.
For sure, musical.
What's a play? Like what's only a play?
Macbeth.
Ooh, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
That's
It's the only play that
The
we
number
know.
one play.
So
Macbeth.
TJ, this was the question I had.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a Rolex. The Rolex is P.
Right.
But is the act of buying the Rolex pushing P?
I guess it probably depends where you buy it from. Like if you just like went to the mall and bought a Rolex, it's not P.
Mm.
What if you steal
And
it?
If you bought it off a jeweler though, that could be P.
Okay. Like Icebox?
I also saw Gunna specifically being like, if you're spending all of your money on that Rolex and you have no other
Right.
money, that is not P.
Yeah.
If you steal it, is that P?
Probably super P. Yeah.
What? Okay. What if you submit like a rebate to get 20% of your cash back from purchasing the?
Absolutely no.
Okay.
What if you buy with Cole's cash? Is
Yeah.
that P?
Food stamps.
Yeah, Camel Cash. What if you saving Camel Cash in shoe boxes in your closet? Is
Yeah.
that P? Okay.
Like they had a private flight back to New York the other day, and their pilot canceled it because one of them didn't have physical ID on them, and they just started we're on Instagram Live in his face with the camera saying Alex the pilot, not P, and then people showed up to their concert wearing Alex is not P T-shirts.
Oh, that's-
All of that's P except for the pilot.
I love it. I love that. You don't need an ID to fly. Tell them like
They
Google
wouldn't
me.
let him. They wouldn't let him fly.
Tell them
Like
like
Gunna, they wouldn't
yeah.
let him fly.
Gunna could have been like just Google it.
Yeah.
Like look up Google images for Gunna. That's me. I'm on your plane.
Right.
Pilots, man.
Alex is not P
Not P. But we're an anti-Alex the Pilot podcast.
for sure.
Big time.
We should turn our Twitter handle, not the actual handle, but just the name of it.
I'll change it to like macrodosing. P-
POD.
OD.
Yeah.
Podcast.
I'll do that right now.
Yeah. All right, TJ. Thank you for the explanation. Is there
Sure.
anything that, like, any takes you've been looking to get off your chest?
What are you guys talking about?
We're talking about Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos today.
Oh, she's a freak.
Yeah, she's a freak elite.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, the more I learn about her, the more I'm like, all right, say what you want about this lady, but I bet you she gets after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's passionate.
She's a very passionate woman. Any other conspiracies that you just like truly believe in
Have you guys done Paul McCartney yet?
about him being dead? No.
That's one I would talk about.
Okay.
If you guys ever bring that up and need some input on it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I feel like we could fold that into like all of like the Avril Lavigne. We could
Yeah,
do
celebrity
one on
deaths.
all of them.
Yeah, people who might be dead. I like that. I like that. All right, thank you, TJ. We appreciate you.
Thanks.
Everybody,
TJ.
everybody, go follow TJ on his various social media platforms. We love him, especially if you're a Rutgers fan. If you're a Rutgers fan and you don't follow at TJ Hitchings, then I think you're completely out of the loop. So, he's a must follow.
Welcome back, Billy.
How's your Chick-fil-A?
It was good.
Is your blood sugar rising?
I'm fine now.
Can you
Look, you
tell
just
when
can't you can't overwork me that many hours
Jesus
between
Christ.
meals.
This
You
is one of our-
specifically said it was the easiest prep you've ever had for an episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did say that.
but then
You
I got hungry.
You can't overwork me. Jesus.
It's a joke. It was a joke.
He was kidding. He was
Okay,
doing a bit. So Billy, tell us about some of the prep that you did. We're gonna get to Ryen Russillo in a second because he's very he cares about the subject a lot. But I want to know what you have.
No, so I watched the documentary a couple months ago, and then the Wikipedia has a very good amount of information on it, as well as some of the articles from the contemporary period of 2008, stuff on her background. Elizabeth Holmes grew up the daughter of an Enron vice president, and was very accomplished throughout her life, starting when she was a young child, when she wanted to invent a time machine, something that she conceptualized and drew pictures of. It looked good in design, but like many things she designed, it didn't actually have the ability, besides the drawings of what it was, to actually travel through time, much like her new.
I mean, it's actually a genius idea on her part to invent a time machine.
Yeah,
She's really good at that. Turns out, just like conceptualizing things
and then
and drawing them and saying that she invented them, but then never actually. You let somebody else do the work behind the scenes.
But you can tell she just had like her parents probably like, oh yeah, like you can do it.
Yeah.
One day you got this.
As the episode unfolded, and like knew about her and things like this, but the thought couldn't escape me. Is there any difference other than biologically we can point to between her and Elon Musk? Because I cannot find one.
Well, Elon Musk did develop a product that objectively works.
It does not objectively work. They just recalled 50% of all active cars that are on the road.
But
It does not work.
Some of them work. None of what she did works.
Well,
That's not true. One of her 200 patents got passed.
So wait.
Wait.
50% of all Teslas got recalled.
Yeah, I haven't even heard about that. Is that
50% that are currently on the road, 25% all time that were produced have been recalled.
We gotta
Well,
let Blake
the thing
Bortles
is-
know.
Elon Musk's, the way he makes money is not through the car.
Correct. He does it by saying he's going to do things that he doesn't actually do, much like Elizabeth
I mean,
Holmes.
he makes money by selling his carbon credits to other car companies.
Well,
that's-
you're correct. But he
that's
also does a lot of posturing publicly about building things that he simply does not build.
Okay, Tesla is recalling 475,000 of its Model 3 and Model S electric cars to address rearview cameras and trunk issues that increase the risk of crashing, the U.S. road safety regulator said on Thursday. Around 200,000 vehicles will be recalled in China. That's their, I think, their second biggest market. So yeah, that seems like a lot of recalls going on right now.
I believe it's the majority of that are currently on the road, and I believe I read 25% all time that they've ever produced.
His rockets tend to work, don't they? Sometimes.
Yeah, but he's just kind of blasting them up there.
Yeah, he is.
It's a
Like he has all these grand
he's a
ideas.
volume
I mean, Trent's
shooter.
been on this case for a long time, but it's like he's talked about like he's claimed pretty much to invent tunnels, like and buses, which are things we already had. And Holmes' whole thing was like, which we get into, like she was just going to someone else to run these tests and doing them wrong, which is also what Musk seems to be doing.
Yeah, Elon, his tunnel had traffic in it, so the idea behind the tunnel was that it would never be congested. And I saw a video the other week of them, and it was like very slow traffic moving. There was like a traffic jam in the tunnel. They should build a second lane in the tunnel, and if they built that second lane, I feel like that would resolve their traffic issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, Elon Musk, feel free to hire me. I'm an ideas guy, much like you. I feel like we would get along handsomely. What's the deal with Elon Musk and naming the company Tesla? I feel like there's a small group of people that fancy themselves to be the best thinkers in America or in the world that have an obsession with Tesla, Nikola Tesla, who is a rival of Thomas Edison. I believe, I might be butchering this, but they think that like he got a raw deal back in the day. Like a Shakespeare and the guy that Shakespeare copied off of situation.
Wasn't Tesla? Wasn't there a conspiracy that he was killed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought like the FBI had most of Tesla's information, like still.
Oh, do
locked
you want to
away.
go next week's episode, Tesla? Because there's a lot there.
We could do that.
I think those people might be correct. I think Tesla was that guy. Tesla was P.
Oh, hell yeah. Guys, breaking news. John Hinckley is starting a band.
Who's that?
He's a guy that I think he shot Reagan.
What?
But he got out of jail.
He's still alive?
Yeah, he got out of jail, and he's starting a band, looking for a bass player, drummer, and lead guitarist. If you would like to be in my band and are serious about this, send bio.
If you don't do that, like, you're not serious about content.
Well, so Big T is encouraging me to team up with a guy that
Did you
shot
follow
Reagan.
him on
I
Twitter?
think that would be incredible content.
Does he have a Twitter account?
He does, and he doesn't follow anybody.
When did he join Twitter? John Hinckley 20. Holy
I'm going to
shit.
have to write a song. I'm going to have to write a song asking John Hinckley to let me join his band.
That's gonna be. You just got to get him, and pop punk's ever growing. Why don't you just get him? You already have the rest of the framework. He's the new lead.
I mean, what
Get
would
Rona.
be a more punk rock song than writing a song about wanting to shoot the president?
Especially that president.
That's so punk. Like, that's basically all 80s punk bands wrote about anyways, was trying to kill Ronald Reagan.
Did you know he's only 66 years old?
Oh, really?
If you had asked me how old he was, I would have guessed he was dead, but I would have said like 90.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to have to audition. I'm going to go home. I'm going to write a
Oh my
song.
god, he's got 23,500 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to go home, write a song about wanting to be in a band.
What was his ideology to shoot Reagan? What was
He wanted to impress Jodie Foster.
seriously?
It's one of those natural A plus B equals C things. Like
Who among us?
Step 1, kill shoot Ronald Reagan. Step 2, marry Jodie Foster.
So he's
in
crazy.
that order.
So he's crazy.
Yes.
Huh.
So
I've heard worse plans, like Theranos.
like Theranos. Let's get to talking with Ryen Russillo about Theranos. Before we get to Ryen Russillo, I want to talk to you guys about our great friends over at Sport Clips. You can go to grandma's for the holidays, but don't go where she cuts her hair. Sport Clips are the pros in men's hair. I don't take my broken phone screen to a mechanic for the same reason I don't trust my hair in the hands of my grandma's stylist. I want someone who specializes in me, and the experts at Sport Clips are trained specifically for guys' hair. If it's long hair, curly, short, thinning, thick, chubby face, skinny, whatever your look, they know how to cut and shape your hair to fit you the best. Afterwards, you might even get a pinch on cheek from grandma. Sport Clips, they're the pros in men's hair. Check them out. Sport Clips, Sport Clips, Sport Clips. Great company. We love Sport Clips. And don't forget about their legendary hot steam towel. Love that. There's no better feeling in the world than when you get your hair cut at Sport Clip. They give you the hot towel at the end. The most refreshing feeling in the world. They are the pros when it comes to men's hair. So we do welcome you on the show. You've been a recurring guest on Part of My Take in the past. You might recognize Ryen Russillo from his many podcasts on The Ringer. You may recognize him from the Russillo and SVP show, or was it SVP and Russillo?
No, it was SVP, and then it was SVP and Russillo. Year 5.
Year 5.
We got there.
I think I've told you this before, but I used to listen to you guys at lunch, on my lunch break, when I had a job that I hated in Austin. And so I'd go out to my car, and that would be like the highlight of my day, would be listening to your radio show. And I'd like get to laugh and think about sports for a little bit, and then I'd have to slug my sorry ass back into my job until I started going back in like 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late. Then I got reprimanded. Then eventually I was like, fuck this, I'm out. But yeah, that you got me through some very hot summer days. In the moments, you know what it was actually? I was in Austin, and I used to listen to Alex Jones on my lunch break every day, which is, no offense, way more entertaining than you and Scott Van Pelt. Like incredible content. And they took him off the air. He got shadow banned by terrestrial radio for a while. He had to take like a week off work. Maybe he was in the hospital or something. Maybe he had some family court issues he had to deal with. But it was in that week that I started to listen to you guys at lunch, and I never looked back at Alex Jones. So thank you, because were it not for you guys, I might be full radicalized by now. I might have been in the Capitol on January 6th.
Yeah, or just maybe like looking into it.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research.
What's Travelocity say about this week? Yeah, the Alex Jones thing's crazy. I love seeing the videos of Alex Jones and somebody like goes at him and he's like, let's fight right now. I know Billy must love that. No, and he'd just be like, some guy gives him the finger and be like, let's go.
Yeah. When he's on the street, there's like one video where he's just like chasing a guy. It's like classically like one of the best memes ever. But
yeah, I respect his aggression though.
He comes out swinging.
He does. He's always looking to fight. That's his first course of action. It's like, you're going to talk shit about me? You won't fight me. But I've noticed he only does that to people that are definitely people that don't look like they've been in physical encounters.
He's a big accoster. I wouldn't say he likes to accost people on the street.
He's a fascinating guy to me. Like, Alex Jones is one of those people that I'll read anything that you write about him. I want to know more and more about his history. I don't agree with virtually anything the guy has ever said about anything, but I can't stop listening to him. It's great. He's got like a mind control thing on me. I actually thought yesterday when I was watching the Cowboys play and Mike McCarthy was just getting wider and redder throughout the game, he's got a little Alex Jones thing going on.
High blood pressure.
When you said virtually anything, can you think of one thing Alex Jones has said that you're like, I kind of agree with?
Let's see. What do I agree with him on? Whataburger fries are trash. He hates Whataburger fries. Okay. He's on record saying like he'll get a hamburger at Whataburger and then he'll drive to McDonald's to get their fries, and he'll bring the Whataburger into the McDonald's so he can eat the burger in there while eating the McDonald's fries. I think low key that's a genius move.
I don't hate that.
The Bon Iver video voiceover of him is one of the greatest pieces of art we have in modern history.
Amazing.
I mean, it should have won a Grammy, whatever those guys were that did that. And then when it just breaks down all of Alex Jones's takes, I think I'm immature in certain ways, but when you're an adult with a forum and you're going to be critical of somebody and you say they smell bad, you just be like, I bet that person smells bad.
Like sulfur.
Yeah.
It's just such an incredible, because there's this part in that Bon Iver video where they're talking about somebody who's with Hillary all the time. Yeah. And of course, he's just trashing the Dems. And he's pointing out during the rant that he's like, there's this other woman that's with Hillary all the time. She just looks like she smells bad. Yeah. And you just go like, to get to that part, we're like, hey, that line about her, make sure you get that in. That was good.
No,
yeah.
So we played
run through.
Yeah, we played that song in the first episode of Macrodosing. I brought it and played it for everybody. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, with that whole smells bad thing and the reference to sulfur, I'm pretty sure he's ripping off biblical references.
Oh, yeah, no, he's saying that Hillary Clinton is the devil, that people that are around her will tell you that there's an odor of sulfur whenever she appears.
I know y'all saw it because I put it in the Macrodosing group chat. She's making a comeback.
They're
pushing it.
Yeah, thank God. I think we were all looking forward to more Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
So she's going to run for president again?
That's what the Wall Street Journal wants.
Jesus.
Well, it's what one guy from the Journal, who apparently did the same thing when Obama had gone through his first 4 years and said Hillary should come back and run. So now she's doing it again with Biden. And it's the same person. So like other political writers are like, this guy's actually doing this again. which would be, I don't know, the equivalent of a sports take. It would be like
Brett Favre's coming back.
Yeah, but it might be like saying so and so should draft this player, and then 8 years later saying trade for him now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like that's how Billy would be with Sam Ellinger, or
Chad Kelly.
Yeah, Chad Kelly. That's Billy
Yeah.
with Swag Kelly right there. You won't find a bigger Swag Kelly supporter than him. But there were those people like Andrew Luck's kind of that guy right now, where you can just bring his name up every offseason and be like, you go out there and try to get Andrew Luck to come back. Except you saw him at the national championship game, and he probably weighs like 180 pounds.
Yeah.
He looks like he's gone like hippie. Like he looks like very, you could tell. Like,
It was always a little different. I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't have TV. He said that when I went to visit him at Stanford and interviewed him, he was like, he didn't have a phone, or he had an old phone, which we always freak out whenever we hear about a guy with a flip phone. We're like, hey, let's do 20 minutes on this. But he said the only show he watched, The Office, and the only way he would watch it is he would go to Wayland. I think the receiver there, the little white kid who played lacrosse. He was like, he told me, he's like, I go to his room. So, and then for him to walk away, even though, look, the Colts did a bad job the first time through protecting him, and he was carrying them. So I'm a huge Andrew Luck fan. I stand up for him all the time. But for you to walk away from it means, okay, well, if you're okay not playing, then I'm not sure that I want you to be the guy. And you're right. He looked like an extra on, the Black Pearl movie or something.
I just want to know what his day-to-day looks like nowadays.
I guarantee you he's a guy that wakes up super early. He brews his own coffee. Like he's got the most expensive coffee accessories that you can ever order. He goes dummy at Williams Sonoma and gets like his own roaster.
That's his vice.
He grinds his shit. He's got one of those pour over things that looks like a giant bong when you see it, and you don't know exactly how it works until your friend's rich girlfriend tells you exactly what it is. That's what I think of when I think of Andrew, like a guy that takes his Java extremely, extremely seriously. And then he probably reads a book. And then
I bet he reads some intense stuff though. Like he'd be like, do you know that the first dormers were actually in Madrid, so they could get a better gauge at wind currents, and that's why the New England transition, a lot of that New England architecture is actually influenced by early Madrid seascapes. And you just be like, whoa, okay.
Dude, actually, he might be an amazing. We should try to get him on the show. See what he's been thinking about lately.
On Matt, do you think he knows what a podcast is?
Honestly, I think he may be the greatest untapped podcaster of all time.
All right.
Like, remember,
I'm
he was
listening.
reading about. I remember there was one piece on him when he was getting drafted about how he was obsessed with concrete and different types of structural integrity of concrete. And I actually remember being like, hell yeah. What are we talking? Let's talk concrete.
Go off, King. Yeah, no, Billy's right. I think Andrew Luck's brain is like an untapped resource. It's like a forest that's halfway across the world. We're setting off to discover and bring back spices and riches and gold.
Yeah.
Well, he told us before, if he didn't play football, he was going to be an architect.
Hmm.
So the concrete thing checks out.
Yeah, I remember reading, I think it was Peter King did Peter King does these things where he spends 4 hours with a guy before the draft, and then he writes about his entire life and the person that he is based on like the 4 hours that this guy elected to show Peter King. And Peter was just blown away. He was like, this guy is going to be a Hall of Famer. He was taking me all around Chicago and pointing out architecture to me. And so he had Peter King's heart at that point. He's like, okay, this kid is quirky. He's smart. He's inquisitive. But yeah, that's it. That's Andrew Luck. He's interested in stuff like architecture. I bet you he strikes me as a guy that might in his later days get really into Civil War history and Civil War reenactments. That's a special kind of guy that becomes a Civil War guy. I think he has it in him.
I hope he's building stuff. I hope he's applying that stuff. Like, imagine if he has some ranch and then like you go on there and it's just like insane buildings that he's just been like messing around with.
Mm-hmm.
A lean-to
Yeah.
in a place that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember
I love that Peter, by the way, the Peter King story, because it also means every year there's a guy that goes, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, okay, Andrew Luck might have liked Peter King though. I could see Andrew Luck calling him up and being like, hey Peter, you want to get together and talk about microbrews?
This is funny because you won't even realize how topical this was. But when the new Cowboys Stadium opened, and I went to the first game ever, it was actually Oklahoma against BYU. There was a college game in there before there was a Cowboys game. So we went to it. Bradford got hurt, shoulder, and everybody talked about the jumbo screen, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And people were worried that it was going to come into play in the games. And then Peter King, in just a massive example of how ridiculous we can be about things, he was like, what's to stop a quarterback from dropping back on 3rd and 8 and not liking what he sees and throwing it directly at the video screen just to get a do-over until he sees something he likes? And it was so, because nobody does it.
Yeah.
It's like no one's done it for like 10 plus years. We had a punt hit it the other night, a do-over. But Peter King was like, what, 3rd and 8, clock's about to run out. You're down 4. Why not just throw it at the screen?
Peter
Get a
King,
do-over.
he's a guy that needs to wring his hands about something at all times. And he also thinks he knows a ton about football, when in reality, Peter King just has phone numbers of people that know a lot about football. But I don't think he's absorbed a single bit of like football strategy or common sense about the game over the 30, 40 years he's been doing it. He just gets quotes from people, and then he writes glowing things about people that will talk to him. That's his basic strategy. You guys should, by the way, read Peter King. Go back and read all his archives. He's one of the most unintentionally hilarious people out there.
Totally, because he would lose his mind about stuff. He'd be like, "Hey, nobody's on your side on this. You know that, right?"
Yeah, Darren Sharper. You remember that? He's like, out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere, Peter King's like, Darren Sharper, by the way, I would vote for him for the Hall of Fame. And Darren Sharper, you may remember, he's in prison for like multiple rapes right now, like violent rapist. And Peter King was just, no one was asking Peter King about this, but he was like, hey, for the record, I would vote Darren Sharper into the Hall of Fame because it's
out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. No, this was not a discussion people were having. He's like, because I think it should only count what you do on the field, whether or not you should be in the Hall of Fame. And then people were like, okay, Peter, this was like, first of all, I don't think Darren Sharper is going to get into the Hall of Fame, but I understand that like you want to make a point that if it came down to it, that's what your moral line is. Like you have a code in terms of your vote.
Darren Sharper.
Unbelievable.
I was gonna
guy.
say, I feel like Darren Sharper is most remembered for the Greg Jennings.
For the
Mad
Greg
video.
Jennings man video.
That's what the youths know Darren Sharper for.
The hardest hitting safety in the league.
I was out in New Orleans one night and he was in the mix.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What did define in the mix?
There was a million of us, it was all football guys, whether it was former players or on the broadcast, and we were in New Orleans, and he just kind of like showed up with other people, and he was just hanging, lurking in the background. Yeah. And then once everything came to, I was like, oh my God, like think about that. That, he was out and about. Again, it was almost all guys. It was all guys from work. It was after a national championship game, 10 something years ago. But the Sharper thing, I'd heard stories because I have a bunch of friends that live down there. And it's horrible. I mean, it doesn't even need to be, talked about really, because he was just a fucking predator, man.
Yeah. But Peter King would put him in the Hall of Fame, for the record.
Yeah.
No one asked, but in case
documented.
anybody was wondering. Sometimes I often sit around thinking about that when a player is convicted of a crime. What does Peter King think about this man? Before I fully formulate my own idea.
You should have him on.
Nope, can't do it.
Part of my take.
Can't do it. We've had him on in the past. He was one of our very first guests, actually, on Part of My Take. And then he disavowed us. Peter King disavowed us because of, I think it was something that Dave said, I think. And then Peter King's like, I like the Part of My Take guys. They're quirky and funny and weird, but I can no longer associate with Barstool Sports. And for the record, we bought Peter King lunch when we were out in San Francisco, which goes against journalistic integrity and ethics. He never offered to reimburse us. I think he owes Big Cat $50 for In-N-Out. And
that's a lot.
Yeah.
$50.
If you owe somebody $50 for a lunch, you would think that you would at least offer to pay, right? Even if you don't expect that the person will allow you to pay, you have to. You got to reach for the wallet or ask.
Was just his 50?
We may be adjusting for inflation over the years and interest.
I mean, that's fair. You got a lot of inflation to adjust for these days.
We got him 2 burgers. We got him 2 milkshakes. And
wait,
2
2
fries.
milkshakes in the same sitting?
Yeah, well, we gave him a lot of stuff. I think he was saying that he was going to give some to one of his sycophants. but it might have just been for him. We don't know.
Who does 2 milkshakes?
Peter King. Peter
don't
King,
know.
baby. That's what he
You
does.
know what you could have done is had Billy cook him eggs. I almost unfollowed Billy the other day when I saw your egg picture. Who taught you how to cook eggs?
No, so what I do is I low key I have like a good pan that I use for sometimes making crepes. So I like to make my scrambled eggs like I make my crepes because they have that little bit of crisp on the outside.
Yeah.
So I put it in and then I fold it up almost like an omelet. And I put some like, milk in there. And so it's more of a fluffy scrambled egg. So
it isn't fluffy. You cook the shit out of it.
Yeah.
but
I've got a real thing with eggs. Like I see all these international videos of people cooking eggs, and they just cook the shit out of them. And at that point, it's just egg particle. You got to get some air in there, man.
Yeah,
you got to get them fluffed out. Like
Well,
I cannot. You don't though. You singe the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Well, no, but if you see on the outside, it's more of a golden, like the outside of a crepe or a pancake.
Billy, an egg is not a pancake, though.
But
Like I agree with Ryan. Where when I look at your pictures of your eggs, and it's brown and crispy and flat on the outside, that I have a visceral reaction to
But then
seeing
you
that
fold
brown
it,
edge
you
of the
fold
egg.
it over, and then the middle is all fluffy. It's almost
I
like,
understand how folding works, but I'm still getting bites of burnt fucking egg
but
residue.
it's crispy. It's like the
So
outside.
you like the texture. You think of the burnt egg as the crouton of the morning breakfast.
I think it's better than because everyone's had like really bad dining hall eggs that are just like wet, like gooey, and it's sort of like the texture's terrible. This makes it a little more like put together and almost a little more sophisticated in my mind.
I don't think it's sophisticated.
Well, we can do a little egg making next time we're all together.
I think that what Billy's going through right now, though, when I look at pictures of his food, it is a perfect flashback in my own mind to when I was like 21, 22 years old, and the ways that I used to cook things, because everybody had the same kitchen equipment back then. You had like some plates that were from Target that your mom got you when you were a freshman in the dorms. If you hadn't shattered those yet, you took those with you to your first house. You have the one pan, and it's like a big flat pan that's one of those synthetic nonstick things that's got the black surface on it.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And it's technically nonstick, but you also beat the shit out of it with metal spatulas until you scrape all that shit off there. But for a while, it's going to be nonstick. And then that's you cook everything in that one pan. And then you convince yourself that you basically have your own cast iron because it's the same pan that you use for everything. And you just burn. That's all you do. You either anything coming out of that pan is either burned or it's raw.
Look, I'm out there surviving. Just one guy living in an apartment making his own meals. So that's what I'm putting out these days.
Where do you live, Billy?
Around the office. No.
Are you in Manhattan or are you in New Jersey?
No, I'm in New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay.
Taxes are too much in Manhattan for Billy. Given his income level, he has to go out to New Jersey to really save.
Also, they don't require vaccine cards anywhere.
It's a major part of it, yeah.
I also have a vaccine card, so it's funny.
I'm looking at a picture of these eggs. They are pancake eggs. You've somehow managed to turn eggs into flapjacks, Billy.
Yeah.
It is disgusting.
People don't know how to cook them, is my point, is that the number of people cooking eggs versus the number of people actually understand how to cook them. And again, everybody has different styles of what they want to do. But when I see I'll see some video of some guy cooking something, right? And he lays down the egg stuff. He doesn't even scramble it. It's just egg. And then it just cooks to shit as he puts everything on top of it. And then he folds it all up. And you're like, all you did was just burn the hell out of all your eggs. Like, they're not going to taste good now. And everybody's accepted it. And I just felt like when I saw Billy's content, I went, oh, here we go. He's another one.
Also, I know that I'm not the best cook. And I know that it gets people irrationally angry when I post my mediocre meals. So
I like that, Billy, you put the caption of that picture of your eggs is super gremlin. Like, those eggs are super gremlin. You went gremlin mode on those.
My
Get
favorite
the smile on. I can't even be mad at Billy.
No,
Look at
you
the smile
can't.
on his face.
My favorite comment was
ridiculous.
it was burn calories, not food.
Yeah.
No,
also, Billy's supplement routine that he has all of us on.
Yeah, what are you guys doing right now?
Wreaking
I noticed the
havoc.
pictures.
Wreaking havoc. Billy, my prostate fell out of my dick last week because Billy gave me so much weird stuff that is probably unauthorized
Bro,
by the
you just-
FDA.
There's just a
What are they on?
I have them the strongest thing I have them on is Tribulus terrestris, which is just like produces a lot of LSH, which makes your testicles produce more testosterone.
Keep your hands off my testicles. My testicles should not be part of this.
So if you look at the feedback loop, your pituitary glands produces LSH, which is luteinizing stimulating hormone, which then goes down to your testes and it hits your Leydig cells and makes them to create more testosterone. So that is what I'm literally, your T is so high right now and everyone's just getting mad at me because someone's prostate's a little swollen.
No, because you made our T high. Like we are the monster that you created. You gave me super high levels of T, and you're surprised that I'm pissed off at you. Of course I am. I've got
his T is so high.
My T is.
Do you feel different?
No, I feel exactly the same, except I have to piss every 5 minutes.
You get insane pumps nowadays.
That is true. When I work out, I'm very vascular. I do feel the pump. We were doing pull-ups in here the other day, and after I was done, I was just looking at my arms, and Billy's like, "Yo, that's a sick pump," and I was like, "You're right. That like I actually feel like I've got a sick pump going." So there's that.
And you've probably been higher energy too. You just haven't noticed it because you're too busy being high energy and happy.
Yeah, no, I'm too busy to think about doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you know Coley, Ryan? Coley joined.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up, man?
How's it going, pal?
Good. I think the last time I saw you was when I was in the city. Yeah, I stopped by. I don't know. I think I saw
it
you.
was the old office. We stood by the water cooler and just talked about basketball for about an hour straight.
Yeah. No, I know. You're the guy to blame for all the Red Sox demise, right? Because as soon as you showed up and everything started going the other way.
Listen, people blame me. Other people blamed Eduardo Rodriguez for doing the wrist at Correa. Neither of us are on the team anymore, so it remains to be seen who they really fault for that.
Yeah, that was a good Red Sox run. It was unexpected, and I just I wasn't even disappointed. It was weird, Back in the day, I would have been I'd still be upset about it, but after I don't know a bunch of World Series titles, you start to move on from it. So
we could do an hour on the Red Sox if PFT and Billy want.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about the Red Sox. Grady Little gets a bad rap. True or false?
No, he doesn't get bad enough a rap.
Let's cook.
When Pedro's looking back into the dugout, being like, "Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious with this?" Do you know Woj has an original piece where he's like, "Let's not take it all out on Grady Little"?
No, I need to read
that.
Yeah,
it exists. It exists. And honestly, that's kind of the point. Like if you go back hitter by hitter in 2003, which none of us want to do, the listeners definitely don't want us to. There was a left-right matchup where you kind of went, all right, I can see why Grady Little is doing what he's doing. But Pedro very clearly at a certain point in those playoff games, high-stress pitches, he just was, and when he's looking back in the dugout being like, "You fucking seriously leaving me out here?" And then everybody's teeing off on him. That wasn't the greatest time I've ever had. I had to be on the air in Boston the next morning at 6 a.m. and my co-host was bawling, was crying.
That's great radio, though.
He was incredible. A man. He was a grown man with family and stuff. He was like, "Message to the Pats, the Bruins, and Celtics: you're not going to get the job done. Don't even bother." And then there was like some kid who was in the PA program that was a huge Yankees fan, and he started like waving a Yankees flag in the lobby of the radio station, and it was all glass so we could see everything. And he was waving it like this, and guys went up to him being like, "Hey, there's like 3 dudes who work here who want to beat the shit out of you in the parking lot."
Yeah.
But, like real, like it's not a joke. So either put the flag down and go home, or like understand you're going to get beat up, and this isn't going to be an HR thing. It was pretty weird.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird era in Boston sports where it was after you won a Super Bowl, right? But you still
the first Super Bowl.
You
right.
still very much had that complex, the little brother complex at the time.
Well,
where it
the
was
Red Sox thing at that point still dwarfed everything else. Like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Correct.
Coley, what it's like now. Are the Pats the number one thing in Boston? It feels that way. But back then, I mean, it was the Red Sox. I mean, the Red Sox were no worse than 2 at any other point.
I've never put, and people have yelled at me about it, I've never put anyone above the Red Sox. Even like I think Brady as an individual got above the Red Sox, as you see with most of the region not even upset that we got housed by the Bills because they just moved right on to the Bucks. But I don't think the Patriots ever got ahead of the Red Sox. Like when the Red Sox were still cooking, people showed up. Like it's Fenway. There's nothing that can really get. I know like the Sports Hub likes to shit on them because they don't have the rights, but they're the only people who like they told people not to root for the team this year, and this was one of the more fun teams to watch, especially once they got rolling. I don't know, like I've always said the Celtics were dead last. Like I obviously didn't see the Bird era at all, but it's like a Red Sox town, and inside the city, it like the Bruins have been too in my eyes. Like I don't
Inside
know.
the city. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I lived there from 02-ish to almost 09. So I was there for, some really good stuff. But towards the last 3 years I lived there, I was driving back and forth to ESPN the entire time. So it wasn't like it's kind of a weird setup because my Boston shithole apartment was basically a closet. And then I'd stay in a hotel in Connecticut. But I imagine in the 80s, the Celtics probably surpassed anything, even though you had, the World Series, the Super Bowl appearance in the middle of it and everything. But I don't know. I can't imagine too many people want to do this. I always feel like the Red Sox, no matter what, though, would be one. I felt like I had more and more friends that were into the Patriots than the Red Sox part of it. And I think maybe the COVID season pissed off so many Red Sox fans that maybe it was the first time that people, were willing to turn on them a little bit.
I mean, it was the COVID season, and like you take the best player you've developed since Ted Williams and you just ship him to LA. Like both of those things happened simultaneously. Like there wasn't a big reason to support them during that 2020.
No, not at all. And that's why this past year was such a surprise. But I want PFT to take it back because I know he's going to listen to you and I go off here.
No, I was hoping could we let's rank forwards on the Bruins right now. Give me who's number 2? Who should be on that second line right now? Because a lot of people are saying that some of the second line is outproducing the first line at times. And I want to know your take on that.
I mean, I think the only true way to have a Boston sports conversation that really fits this show is to ask Ryan how he feels about the government psyop known as Enes Freedom.
Well,
good point. We talked about him last week, right?
Yeah, look, Will Kane is my friend, but I love that he had Enes Freedom on only because he was going to go at LeBron.
Yeah.
Like
right.
there's no version of that interview happening unless it's like, wait, he's going at LeBron and he's calling out LeBron. Like, all right, Enes, come along. And I don't know, man. I think from the 10,000 foot view, I mean, anybody that's down for people being treated better, like why would you want to tell that person he's doing something wrong with his energy or spending his time in the wrong way? I can't help but think at times it's a little bit about getting some attention too. So.
Yeah. I think Cantor is like, how they developed the A10,
Freedom.
the Freedom is like the A10 Warthog, the plane that was designed to just like for one job take out tanks. Like people do only talk to him just to have him say something about LeBron. He is the LeBron stopper in the media. That's what he does. They bring him in. They're like, so what do you think about China? Tell us about China, Enes. And then, they get him wound up, and then sometimes he'll go off the rails and start talking about some other injustices. And the people that are interviewing him are like, whoa. Let's keep this focused on LeBron and China.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this all checks out. Because I'm trying to think of, it wasn't even his fault, but he went on CNN and he went on Fox, right? After he had the shoes, LeBron, basically bowing to China. And I forget which one it was, but one place introduced him and said, well, he's a defensive stopper on the court and also a defender of freedoms. And I was like, wait a minute. Well, like he's actually, if he could play average defense, the fucking guy be in the Hall of Fame, first of all. He's one of the best around the rim bigs that you're ever going to see. And then the other station, and again, I don't remember which one was which. It was like NBA Superstar. And it's kind of like that Bachelor thing where these guys come on and then Billy, I don't want to, bring up any bad memories, but, guys go on the Bachelor like former professional football player, now retired. And it's like, well, when'd you retire? He's like, oh, I retired my second year at Colby. And you're like, what? Wait, what? Like what about the pro part? You're like, well, I would have been pro, but I had a thigh.
Well,
thing.
a lot of guys who got cut in training camp or never made a
I did
squad.
it. I did an entire podcast once on every guy that claimed to be a pro athlete that had been on The Bachelor, Bachelorette. And out of like the 38, 35 of them were bullshit.
Huh. Yeah, you get like a workout. They bring you in, you go to rookie mini camp. And you stop on the second day. Those are my favorite athletes, the ones that go to their first day of rookie mini camp and immediately quit. And it's like, what is so different about doing a rookie mini camp in the NFL compared to you just got done with 4 years of practicing every day in college, but you had a 1 day of rookie minicamp, and you're like, fuck this, nope, can't do it anymore. Not gonna play football.
I imagine it's a massive wake up call though for some guys that go, oh my God, this is so much better than I thought. So I think there's part of that. I think there's some guys immediately day one that the team goes, hey, you don't need to come back. Like, you can keep the zip up, but don't come back tomorrow. But then that guy will say, I retire. Like it was his choice.
I'm walking away from the game. Yeah. Who was it? Was it I think it was Andrew Hawkins that went to one practice for the Patriots, and he quit after playing for the Browns for like 8 years.
Hawkins did. Torrey Holt did. Reggie
right.
Wayne did.
Yeah, I remember Torrey Holt because these are guys that have played in the league for a long, long time, and they spend 1 day in New England, and they're like nope.
Hall of Famers. Yeah, like people who are some of the best in the league. Like Torrey Holt was just like, I'm too old for this shit, and Reggie Wayne was just like, that was the hardest day of football I've ever had in my life. I would not like to do that again.
Damn. We should probably.
I still can't believe Chad Ochocinco was on a Pats team that was in the Super Bowl and you didn't even know.
The 2 weeks leading up to that, every sports media person was like, you know what the sharp bet is? He's been bad all year, but him scoring a touchdown, that's where you put your money. that was the whole 2 weeks leading up to that game. And then I think he saw like 3 snaps.
Yeah. And by the way, anybody that knew Brady, once he didn't trust you, you weren't getting the ball.
No.
Like that was the most, it was one of the most fun things about Brady, and, you know, getting to watch it every weekend for 20 years, is that you could slowly figure out who he was over and who he didn't trust. And once he tried a couple times to you and then was like, all right, I'm not throwing it to you anymore. And Ochocinco ended up being one of those guys.
Yeah, he had a catch in the Super Bowl.
Did he?
Yeah, people forget that. He had like a 14-yard catch, and he's wearing the jersey that says Ochocinco on the back, which is, seeing a Patriots player wearing Ochocinco, it doesn't, like, there's cognitive dissonance going on right now. I don't believe that I'm actually seeing this. But yeah, he just kind of forgot how to play football when he got to the Patriots. I guess in Cincinnati, it was basically like, okay, you're the most talented player that we've had here in 30 years probably. Just go out there and do whatever you want to do. It'll be fine. Nobody will really care because you're on the Bengals. But then once you go to a place where people actually, you have coaches that watch practice, then you just get buried in the shitter.
That's what I kind of think about Odell with the Giants. That whole time, it was just the whole offense was getting Odell the ball, and maybe like the Bengals offense was getting Ochocinco the ball. And then once he went to the Browns, it was kind of like you couldn't run that type of offense or it'd screw up the whole system that they had going there. That's why once he got hurt, it was almost better for the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, the Bengals offense was just so rudimentary compared to the Patriots, and it was like every route is an option route in the Patriots, at least when Ocho was there, and he just ran the wrong option every single time. Like Brady would throw it out left and Ocho would be breaking in, and it would just be like, well, this is never going to work if you're literally never once on the same page.
Yeah, Joey Galloway showed up there too, and I remember it was just like, nope. And I think we even had him on, and it was just like, hey, this is so different. And that's why, that's why Brady, I think at times would privately, and, it's become a little bit more public, would get annoyed about some of the personnel decisions. I mean, how could you not when you get that 1 year with everybody? And it's like, this is what it's like if you really give me the weapons. And it's like, nah, instead, we're just going to use your accuracy and pay guys no money at the position and have them run little combo routes off the slot.
I love that. Sorry to interrupt, but I just love that we have Ryan.
I want to be interrupted.
I love that we have Ryan on the show, and we're going to be talking about the Theranos saga and Elizabeth Holmes' life, and he can't help himself but find his way into a 30-minute discussion about Boston sports. It's perfect.
Well, I was trying to play to the crowd here.
I know, I love
maybe
it.
Not. Yeah.
You got good instincts. You always
when
find
Coley
your way
came
home.
on.
I popped up. That's all that happened. I popped up. My power came back on. The Celtics got the lead immediately, and it's been great. This is exactly what I've been missing in my life.
All right, let's talk about Theranos, though. Let's talk about Elizabeth Holmes, because I know that Ryan's really into her. They had a thing for a while, off and on, hot and cold. One of those on again, off again flames. But you've been interested in her a while. I think you put me on to Elizabeth Holmes initially back in like 2018. There's some
because it's the
podcasts
best
coming out. It is the best, and
It's the best.
You and I share kind of an obsession with people who are frauds.
Yes.
And I don't know why you think that you were so interested in frauds, but for me, I think it's because I see it all the time in my real world. You see people that put their confidence before any actual substance behind them, and you see people that, I think in the case of a lot of CEOs and a lot of business people that are trying to get money out there, so many people grow up just wanting to be a CEO. That's like their lifelong ambition. They don't want to develop something. They aren't people that have an idea or a product that become successful because people enjoy using it or it helps somebody. They just grow up being like, I want to be the CEO of Business Incorporated, and I want to make moves. I want to be the most badass business person in the world. And I think that's a backwards way of looking at things sometimes, where just everything that the person does is because they want to get famous on the back end, or they want to be like a renowned business person. I see that all the time. So whenever I see somebody who's a fraud in the news, that they've got, a paper trail and just all these details behind their lives that you can use to add up and to show the person that they became, that's always fascinating to me to see exactly like how the human mind works in those cases.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. I think there's something about us inherently that we'd rather see people fail than succeed. I don't care what people say on Instagram and all that shit. I think there's always this weird, whether it's competitiveness, whether you're just a shithead of a person. Maybe you get to a point in your own life where you don't care. But I think early on, when you see somebody and you're like, whoa, is this person real? And they're doing all these amazing things. And then when it falls apart, there's a human reaction there that enjoys it. I'm more interested in not, hey, pointing my finger and laughing at the person. I'm addicted to learning about the con, because she is the all-time con artist. And, whether it's me reading about WeWork, where it's Adam Newman and what they were doing to juice their numbers, and so many of these places juice their numbers left and right, like just keep juicing the numbers, get investments, hope to be able to get to that point where if you actually are profitable at some point, it was all worth it, right? But in this case, we're talking about medical diagnosis, all right? This is fucking insane what she did. She invented something that didn't exist and didn't work. It'd be like me saying I invented a time machine and you were like, where? And I show you a picture of one that I drew. All right. She then became obsessed with Steve Jobs to the point where she started dressing like him. She changed her voice to be deeper. You got to see that video of her with Kramer, where it was the first time the Wall Street Journal was like, hey, this whole company may be full of shit because their technology doesn't make any sense. And nobody's signing off this. And the FDA's only approved one blood test for whatever technology that they're running. And then she comes on with Kramer and she's like, first they call you crazy. And then you changed the world. And her voice, by the way, is back to normal now. So I don't know how that happened.
Well, there were times when she would go out and get drunk. She'd go to like a happy hour with some of her coworkers
and be gone. Right.
And then the voice would slip back once she had like 3 cocktails in her. And the next day she'd wake up. And now she's saying like, no, this, even her family members are like, this runs in her family. Her grandmother had a very deep voice. So it's right.
So everybody's covering for her.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about this. They finally get this device working, but it isn't working. Nobody knows that it's not working. What they're basically doing is all the blood tests on other stuff that had already been around. So their invention was, hey, we have this blood testing system that's unobtrusive, but yet we're just running it out the back. It'd be like me opening up a burger place. And when you came up to the delivery window, I ran across the street to get burgers, but I brought you hot dogs and said I was killing it, even though I wasn't even cooking the hot dogs in the first place. They misdiagnosed a woman. They said she had HIV. There's another guy who had this blood test thing that he needed to do for whether or not to stay on these blood thinners. And the results from the Theranos test, which again, weren't even being run on the invention that she supposedly came up with, said that he could get off the blood thinner. And then it found out later, like he definitely wasn't supposed to be off of it and had to have some sort of procedure. There was another woman that had this like awful immune deficiency diagnosis. She changed her entire fucking diet, started taking meds for it, and then got tested again. There's somebody else who thought they had cancer. So then they canceled a trip overseas that they've been planning forever. And then the doctor's second opinion were like, you definitely don't have cancer. So like for all the people that are out there, because I've read some of the stuff about like, why is she the target? Why is she the target? It then becomes a gender thing. That's not what this is. It's one thing to con people out of hundreds of millions of dollars and the fake it till you make it approach. it's another thing in the process to have never actually come through on what it is that you've claimed that you've invented and brought your company to a $9 billion valuation, which was funny because she went from like being worth 5.4 billion to zero in Forbes. They like made a point of being like, here's what she was worth, here's what she's worth now. And the company still stayed at 800 million, which I thought was pretty interesting from 9 billion. But the whole time this is happening, she knows the product doesn't work. She knows the results are fucked. She knows she's using old technology hidden behind everything else to actually get some blood tests out there. And throughout the entire time, she was okay with it because she got to play the role of somebody she admired. So, you know, look, the sentencing is probably going to end up being light. She was found guilty on some of the counts, not all the counts. There's even a theory out there before the actual case was delayed because of COVID that she got pregnant, hoping to be pregnant during the final like moments
Genius
of the trial. Unbelievable. Changed her whole dynamic. And then, of course, she also blamed her boyfriend, Sonny, who she had met when she was like 16 overseas at some nerd camp. And then,
she said
these text messages are.
She said that Sonny was being like borderline abusive to her. That they were considering using the strategy of saying that the COO at the company
they hinted at it, right? But they didn't go full bore with it, right?
Being controlling. Yeah, they didn't go full bore because
abusive.
Because if you say that you're under control of this person, you're also essentially admitting that all the accusations are true and accurate. But you're saying they are true, but it's not my fault. It's this guy's fault for making me do it. So they didn't want to go like full bore on that. We should do. Oh, by the way, you brought up the person that had the HIV test that came back positive, but then that was fake. Spin zone on that. That's actually like that person probably had the best meal of their life. They probably went out there and had the most unprotected sex of their life right after they found out that they didn't have AIDS. Like imagine how good you feel. That's like that scene in Fight Club when they rob the guy, they stick the guy up in the back of the convenience store, learn his name, his address, and then Brad Pitt's like, that guy's the next meal that he has is going to taste as good as any meal he'll ever have in his life. You get a short-term rush. Like that must be such a relief finding out that you actually don't have AIDS.
Are you saying we should go around and hit people with that just like to give them that rush?
No, I'm saying that person, they stumbled their way into maybe the best news of their life that they'll ever get.
I gotta imagine those down times weren't great though prior to realizing.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why you have to like go in person to find out those results.
Yeah. But we should do a quick reset here on who she is, what the company did, because there might be one or two people that aren't super familiar with her. But she was a student at Stanford University. She dropped out there, and she was regarded as being one of the most brilliant students. She made a lot of connections while she was on campus there with faculty, with alumni, and just with people that are known of being like Stanford University supporters. And she was regarded as being like the next up and coming mind in Silicon Valley as early as the age of 19. Then she started this company called Theranos, and her idea that we were discussing earlier is she had an idea to make a small machine about the size, what would you say, of like a microwave?
It was the machine they had at the end looked like an air fryer. That's the best way to describe it.
I would say an air fryer size.
Air fryer. Okay, the size of an air fryer. And if you don't have an air fryer, that's like the size of a microwave, right?
Nah, it's a little
slightly bigger.
It's
Toaster oven.
Toaster oven.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you have an air fryer?
No.
It'll change your life.
Gotta get with the times, bro.
I love that we're debating the size difference of the microwave and the air fryer.
No,
Is the volume that? Can we get any volume cubic inches?
I'm trying to think of what, because the thing is I
I've got
remember
a
the
new
device
coffee
was
maker,
tall.
and the coffee maker that I have is one of those side by side where you can do the K-cup and you can fill up the carafe with coffee. But it's got a bigger tank than the last one that I had. That's like the upgrade that they made. You can now put up to, I think, 15 or 16 cups worth of coffee. Now, I think it's about the size of that coffee maker.
All right, so small appliance in the kitchen.
Small appliance in the kitchen. So her idea was you can get a drop of blood from somebody,
right?
Run it through this machine. One drop of blood, run it through this machine, and within an hour, it will give you complete diagnosis on what
200 different tests.
200 tests, like your vitamins, your platelet counts, your liver levels, your triglycerides. It can test you for HIV. It'll tell you what kind of cancer you might have, or if you don't have cancer. What else was in there?
Yeah, it almost ran
dude.
every blood test that you'd want to know, like because the idea was that people would do this every day and have perfect monitor of their health, so that cancers that if you catch early, it would be caught, and you extend everyone's lives by so much by making an affordable way for people to like figure out when they're sick as soon as possible.
And
Right,
it
way
also
cheaper.
had like enormous military implications too, where
Yes.
they would send it to the battlefield and soldiers could check their blood levels and see if they were developing an infection, things like that.
That was something after I watched the documentary I learned. I didn't realize there was military and government control.
Yeah,
Well,
yes.
that money, I mean, if you can get government contracts, that's insane.
Kissinger was on the board.
Yeah.
He had an all-time quote when they were asking him about like whether or not he thought that this company was fraudulent, if he had any misgivings about dealing with her. He said my only problem was she had 4-hour-long board meetings, which are basically human rights violations. Kissinger said that.
Yeah.
The carpet bomber, Kissinger, the guy that like he's famous for just bombing civilians. He's the GOAT of bombing Southeast Asian villages. And his only quote that he could give was calling a 4-hour board meeting a human rights violation.
Also, her board,
Right.
her board being a women founder, her board was 1,000-year-old white men, all of them.
Well, she's
Well,
smart.
it's all of her dad's. So
She's very smart because she definitely played up that whole like she has the ability to control older
Old
horny
white men.
guys. Yeah.
And that they were all like in government positions. Like none of them had, like they said this in the documentary, none of them had any medical experience. All of them were like Secretary of State.
I've got a pretty big blind spot in my corporate knowledge because I hear people talk about boards of directors all the time. And I know that it's sometimes a very convenient thing for somebody to say like I got to go check with my board. I got to run this by my board. I got to have a board meeting tonight. I don't really understand. Maybe I do understand, but I don't think I understand what boards do. As far as I can tell, if you get a board of directors for your company, you're essentially paying them, whether it be in stock or a salary, you're paying people to advertise for your company by saying, yeah, I serve on their board. And then those people that are on your board are trying to make money in stock through your company doing well in the long term. So they're going to go out there and be evangelists for your company. Is that, am I way off on that?
It also gives legitimacy to the product, and for like large
Right.
institutional investors who want to invest, they're like, oh, Kissinger's on the board.
Right. So,
this guy's on
so
the
you're
board.
you're paying people to give legitimacy to your
It's
company
a stamp of approval.
by just hanging out. That's what a board does, right?
And then they vote on certain things.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, look, what you're doing is you're peddling an influence, and then you're basically, compensating for that. And the weird thing about when you look at these board seats is, like, if somebody legitimate there in the beginning, they had Clinton's, like somebody that was in Clinton's cabinet was like one of the first people she linked up with. And then he tells somebody. So now all of a sudden you've got like real front facing people on this. Then the word starts getting around, and all of a sudden people are just investing because they don't want to feel like they're left out. They're like, hey, what's it going to do? We're like, oh, this is the technology. You don't know if it works or not. You don't know any better. The funny thing is when they kept getting in more and more trouble, like at one point, I think a few different times, but there was some different stuff where like Arizona was like, get these machines out of here. California's like, by the way, you're only cleared to do one kind of test, and you're doing all these other tests. You have 10 days to figure this out. And then they were investigated, and all their shit was wrong and all this stuff. So she would just be like, all right, new board.
yeah.
And so a guy would roll in. Like there was a guy that was the CEO of Wells Fargo, who then later on was just like the new board guy.
And all the old board guys are like, look at this sucker they got in. And the new board guy has no
And
idea.
they still have their stock options,
Actually,
likely.
I have an idea here. For any aspiring startups out there who need someone on their board, I'm so down to be a part of someone's board.
Yeah, that's
So
that company's going to take
so
off.
companies like, I don't know, like that create, like, I don't know.
Just
like, I feel
companies. If you are a company listening to this podcast,
I feel like I would have been a great board member of like Raging Mammoth, the tool company to crack open beers for shotgunning.
okay?
So like companies like that.
We should get a board just for this podcast, though. We should hire people to be on the board.
No, we want to be on other people's.
No,
board.
that sounds
we
like
want to use
that's
our
too-
influence.
That's way too much work.
No, but then I mean, I would serve.
I don't want to serve on anybody's board. I want to have a board of directors, though, to just like promote our own company. But so all the while she had this
All the
this
while.
machine-
All the while.
All the while she had this machine, which
Right.
was about the size of like a mini fridge, like a small dorm mini fridge or a soda stream. It was about the size of a soda stream. And she claimed that it ran all these tests and she's getting all these people on her board and it's being sold to Walgreens, right? It was placed in Walgreens in several states.
Just Arizona.
And
just Arizona. And then there was something in California that they had, but I think it was their tests on site. So I think that was a little different. Go ahead.
But the machine didn't do anything. They had a machine and they had a theory of what this machine should do, but the machine never actually did that, right?
So during some of their presentations on it, they would take people's blood and then take a very small amount, then put it in the machine, and then be like, it's taking the results right now. And then everyone would be like, oh, that's so cool. And then everyone would leave. They would then take the small amount of blood and then try to put that blood through a regular test, which would require way more blood. And that's why there were so many bad results, because they would take like not enough blood to do regular tests that required way more blood.
But
and the machines were breaking too.
Yeah.
They were breaking inside of themselves.
Well, they were opening the machines and taking the sample back out after they just put it in.
Yeah, the whole thing was a mess. And basically it was posters of cool things. It was an invention where there was a poster and she wore her mocks and she had the deep voice and she put on the lipstick and she tried to be female Steve Jobs, and the funny thing is too, is that they try to rebrand themselves as the mini Theranos. It was like, you just basically, what do they do? Oh, okay, iPod Shuffle, we'll do that.
It's a good idea. If you can figure out a way to make it work, I'm sure that there's some actual money in it for you.
Well, apparently this idea of miniaturizing common functions is huge in Silicon Valley. Like this idea that, like, for example, computers used to be the size of this room, but now we have computers the size of iPhones. So that whole idea that everything can be miniaturized has really like caught on there. So this idea that is like, they've been trying to do this in different sectors, and it's sort of common practice to, you know, even though the technology is not there, gather the funds and just fake it till you make it, which we talked about. But in this case, because it wasn't something as harmless as, you know, like an app, an entertainment device that would be smaller, or, you know, miniaturization of like other technologies.
Tiny
this one
speakers.
dealt with healthcare. It was like the first time.
Tiny speakers.
Yeah.
Floor mats.
AirPods.
The smallest
Pencils.
Bluetooth speaker possible that still fucking rocks.
Yeah.
That's what she should have developed, because you can lie to people and be like, yeah, this miniature Bluetooth speaker, it's actually got the highest sound quality of any speaker on the market. As long as it's loud, people are going to listen to it and be like, yeah, this actually rocks. This is legit. This is a good product. But instead, she decided to get into healthcare, which brings up all other issues. I like the fact that there's so many good details about her, and just how she operated. That seemed like they've got to be made up, but they're not. They're all real. She had a dog named Balto. That was a husky, and one day she just decided to start calling it a wolf. And so people would ask her, like, what breed of dog is it? And she'd be like, oh, he's 100% wolf.
That's like some of those people who are able to just lie to themselves. It's like a type of sociopathic, like psychopathy, where they can literally just lie to themselves and believe it, and just lie about their surroundings and be like, yeah, that husky's a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she 100% believed it. Like, she was just gaslighting herself.
I think she believed 100% of everything she said.
Well, if you
I don't
look
think
at-
she ever
yeah.
lied intentionally. Maybe like some of the numbers and shit.
No,
I think
she
she
lied.
was so insane that she believed all that stuff.
No, she had to lie because her machine didn't work, and she knew that the machine didn't work.
But I think,
and she had to tell her engineers, she had to continuously lie to her engineering team to let them know like what's going on. She had to lie to the marketing team to tell them how far along the new engineering upgrades were. She was lying like all the time.
so maybe that, but like in terms of the overall like goals of the company, like I think she believed that was always going to work, like that it was always going to pan out.
I think that she's not intentionally lying, in that she's a pathological liar, and that's just what she does all the time. I think that's fair to say, but I don't know. Then can you even say like somebody's intentions if they're a pathological liar? It seems like they just lie.
Yeah.
It's just what they do.
And I think a lot of it was in order to maintain her lifestyle of, you know, talking on panels, TED Talks with Bill Clinton and Bezos and just being around those Silicon Valley, like the lifestyle and like, you know, because that's really why someone who's this, you know, geared towards, if you look at her early life, you can tell that there was a lot of pressure put on her, and she was super hyped up by her father, who was the vice president of Enron. So it was a very like well-to-do family that like basically you could tell that
Great
she was
company.
pushed into, that company went bankrupt on accounting fraud.
I was gonna say, weren't they frauds too?
They're the
He was
ultimate
tr-
example of corporate fraud.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
they say that like, you know, it can be, if you're like fraud, like if your father's a fraud, you're more likely to be a fraud yourself because you pick
They
up.
say
some of
that
the
that's
subtle-
hereditary.
It's not hereditary, but you pick up. It's actually, it has.
That's
I'll-
some genome mapping. What are we talking about?
It's,
here?
That's the clutch gene that they're
no,
looking
it's
at.
it's what's the word? No, I saw it in a psych paper. It was like not sociopaths, but the
Alcoholics.
not kind of, because the lying.
But you're fraud.
'cause
You're
the
just a
lying-
fraud.
No, but the pattern of lying is picked up by children. So like if they see their parents make quick lies to like strangers, or
Mhm.
they pick up that ability in that sort of compulsive lying that they then go out to do. And the word is, what am I thinking of? Narcissists.
I can't wait.
Narcissists. A lot of people with narcissistic parents actually end up as narcissists.
That's got to be
Okay.
tough if you have a narcissist for a parent, because you become a narcissist yourself. You just spend all your time competing against the narcissist parent, and then you probably just want to kill each other.
That or just having a parent that still thinks you're wrong and you're the kid. And
Yeah.
the narcissist is like, sorry, today's my day.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm a kid though. I'm like 5. Can we play catch? Be like, well, that's not important to me because it's not about me. That'd be the worst.
Yeah.
Yes, narcissistic personality disorder is an inheritable but psychological condition. Research evidence indicates that a person is more likely to develop NPD if said personality disorder occurs in the medical history of his or her family.
So one thing that fascinates me about cases like this is if somebody's committing fraud on such a massive, widespread level, finding out about all the lies that they were telling, all the different webs that they were weaving at once. There's something that I love hearing. I love putting myself in the shoes of that person and thinking how stressful their life must have been trying to lie to all these people at once and keep all their stories straight. For some reason, to me, it's just like I kind of get a kick out of imagining somebody struggling to maintain all those different lies. It's like it's just the tension that they have to walk around with every day is interesting to me.
But the thing is, they never feel it because they're able to lie to themselves as well.
You think
That's what's the most fucked up part. They're like they lie like, oh, I've told so many lies, and then they're like, no, I'm fine. Like it's all truth.
So you think she actually believed that Balto was a wolf?
It's a fucked up thing that we will never understand.
Yeah.
If you're not the type of person who can just lie to yourselves, like people who cheat are serial cheaters and who are able to just like act like everything's fine. It's like they're able to lie to themselves.
Do you think that she there are reports that she never blinked? Is that something that
She could have also been heavily medicated.
No, she didn't.
Yeah,
blink?
no, she never blinked. She had a journal for her day where it was like, always listen, never talk, be decisive, know the outcome before you enter the room, which is just such bullshit. It's like, these dumb lifestyle things of like, know the outcome before you enter the room. You're like, I don't know that. How could you sit there and pretend that you're so a step ahead of everybody that you're going to be able to do this? She did bulletproof glass along her office in Palo Alto.
That's paranoia.
I
Yeah.
started paying attention to the blinking thing once they said that in the documentary, and she will blink, but like then once she gets up in front of people or in an interview or something, she stopped. Like she was walking into it was like when the FDA approved like one of their tests out of 200 or whatever, and they were throwing a party like they just, gotten $1 billion, and she's blinking on the way, like when she's walking to address the people, and then she gets up there and she opens her eyes wide as can be and stop. Like it was like a conscious thing she did.
I wonder what the psychology of that is. If you have a conversation with someone, you intentionally don't blink and you stare into their soul. Does she think that gives her control over the conversation? Does she think that
She must have.
expresses power?
I mean, she must have been killer at the stare game.
Mike Tomlin would have loved her.
Who blinks first?
Yeah, cut off your eyelids.
Yeah. No, but what is that? If you're just like, having a conversation, somebody doesn't blink. What is the effect that would have on you?
It'd freak me out.
Yeah, it's off-putting.
Are you going to research that right now, Billy? Because I know that Jim used to look at Dwight's forehead.
That's right. Yeah, and he'd like start trying to wipe it off. Like, what are you staring at?
It says
He'd be like nothing.
It says on here that psychopaths tend to blink less than the average person. While it's a common occurrence that psychopaths blink less, there's no like phenomenon about it. It's just that they have recognized that psychopaths tend to blink less.
You know what'll really fuck you up is if you start thinking about how often you blink,
and then
it'll fuck up your whole blinking pattern. Like now I'm thinking about it, I can't blink normally.
That breathing, that does the same thing. I feel like if you think about breathing, then you're like, catch your breath.
Like I'm blinking like a fucking psycho right now over here because I'm thinking like
they say
wait, now I'm blinking too much.
I'm trying to look. They say that cocaine may make you blink less, but Adderall
she was definitely
actually
on cocaine, right?
No, I don't think she. No, because
no one would do it or give her any. She's such a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely gave off strong cop vibes. I was actually thinking about this over the weekend, because I was watching the new season of Dexter where his girlfriend's a cop. And if you're a cop and like your friends are having a party and maybe one of their friends is having a party, you can't go to parties really without like pre-announcing, hey, is it okay if I come over? I am a police officer. And then it's awkward for everybody. You have to really limit your social life if you're just going to be.
Well, it's actually, no, I have a friend who's a police officer. It's actually chill as fuck to have a cop at a party because if the cops show up to the party, the cop talks to the cop and is like,
Billy, you're going to the worst parties if you think it's chill to have a police officer there.
No, but
I also love this hypothetical PFTs, this hypothetical world he's built where like cops are always following the law.
Yeah.
I know.
What are you talking about?
I know.
How many cops do you know?
I know a few cops, but I also know how it can be awkward for people that are at the party if there's illicit things going on at that party and someone shows up that they don't really know. So I'm not saying like if your friend's a cop and he's hanging out with you. I'm saying if you're a police officer and you're hanging out with your 3 buddies, right? And one of your buddies has a friend from their work that's having a big get together. You're not like, it'd be weird for you to go over to this group of people that you don't know if they found out that you were a cop at the party. I'm just saying the whole dynamic's got to be weird.
I think a lot of cops that are going to put themselves in a situation with a party are kind of down and they're fine. You know what they say, Billy, too, right? When the cops show up and there's another cop there that's off duty.
What?
I'm on the job. So when my buddy who was a cop, he was a Boston cop, and then, we'd be on the vineyard and
he pretends undercover?
No, he got pulled over. And the cop's like, coming up to the side of the car. He's like, what are you guys up to? My buddy just goes, I'm on the job. And he's like, all right. And turn right around. Now, for the kids listening right now,
unless you have a bag.
I'm not telling you to use it because you gotta. And my buddy looked like a cop.
I was gonna say Billy could use it.
Yeah, for sure.
No, you'd be you're too innocent. I don't. You really think so?
Well, when I get a fresh,
he looks like at least a state trooper's son.
Oh, he looks like a cop, no doubt. Well, I don't know if your delivery, if I would trust you enough in that.
Well, for sure. Yeah.
Let me tell you, when I get a fresh buzz cut and it's like all my lines are crisp, and I'm I think I can rock.
No,
it.
It's not the look. You just be like,
it's not the look.
My
Billy would be like,
jeans.
Low key, I'm on the job, and the cop would be like, all right, you're coming to jail. Big T could get away with it, I think.
Big T, think?
Yeah, for sure. You look like a cop.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of the same thing as Billy, though. I don't know how.
Well, I think
your voice. I think you got a cop voice.
Be like,
okay.
Hey, how are you? Officer? I'm on
no
the job.
Disrespect. Just
no, I take that as a high compliment.
I regret doing this because now there's like a kid's going to get arrested this week listening to this going, I'm on the job.
Like a question.
You did expressly say don't do it.
Yeah, don't.
And then we'll blog it, and it's a self-sustaining circle.
There you go.
Well, you whip out your badge, say I'm on the job. That's probably the best.
I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try the I'm on the job, see if I can get away with it.
No,
you look the least like a cop.
Thank you.
He looks like an undercover cop.
I did get offered weed on the street on Friday. I was like, still got it. Felt like a badass. I was walking out of the Book of Mormon. Great play, by the way. Go check it out if you haven't seen it.
Wasn't it
You hadn't
awesome?
seen it yet?
Hadn't seen it yet. Had a fantastic time.
It's great.
It's actually
Yeah.
like one of my first times going. I went to a Broadway play one time before. My second time going. Awesome time. Just what a great play. Like laughed out loud the entire time. But I was walking outside the theater, and this guy just comes up to me. He's like, "You want weed?" And I was like, "Nope, but thank you very much, sir." Like I felt so good about myself.
That actually happened to me last night when we was walking out of after we reported at like 3 a.m.
They tried to just sell you weed.
No, a car pulled up to the curb real fast, and I was just like a little startled. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And this guy popped his head out the window and goes, "You smoke?" I'm like, "Nah, bro." It was literally right the street over.
This is concerning. This sounds like Billy almost got abducted.
I kind of did. It seemed a little weird.
It's like when a guy in a van pulls up outside your elementary school and he's got candy.
Yeah, I'm just saying that actually happened.
Billy
But it's weird that you said that.
survived a kidnapping attempt.
No, I don't think they tried to kidnap me. I think they.
I
thought-
remember I didn't hang out in the city very much until later on when I was in Connecticut. I mean, I'd gone a few times because the classic Boston thing you would hate New York City and you had never been. And then you go to visit your buddies after college and you're like, this place is kind of awesome, actually. And so I remember one time it's the only time I ever traveled with the Celtics, and I was staying at the Ritz, I think, on Central Park. And I think there was an old whiskey park there. You remember those? I don't know. You guys are all probably too young.
I don't remember
And-
Whiskey Park.
Yeah, Whiskey Park was the name of a bar. I think there was one in Boston too. I think it was Cindy Crawford's husband, this guy who was behind all of it. Again, old story. Almost might want to stop and abort on the whole thing. But as I was walking, I went over there for a little bit. Guys made fun of me. I remember them being like, "What are you into? What's your bag?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm calling the Celtics game. I'm fill-in." They're like, "You're the fill-in?" Like, you must be broke. Like it was straight out of a movie. It was hilarious. Like just guys doing coke, being so excited about their lives, and like we're at this cool New York City club.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I'm fine." I was like, "I actually have to work tomorrow. I just wanted to come over and see what this is about." And then on the way out, I was walking back to the hotel, and an SUV of women just pulls up, and they're like, "Get in." And I was like, "There's no way this is a good idea, right? Like I'm not that good looking. Like some days I have the right shirt on, you never know."
If it's
And it was-
So what
It was-
happened
got
after you
done
got
doing-
in?
You just got
It
done
was
doing
super-
shoulders and traps, and so
Right.
you know that collar's extra high on your neck.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right. So, I woke up in, I think Teaneck is the town. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't get it.
Yeah, no, you're
I
actually,
didn't get it.
You're smart.
It's scary. It was so fucking scary. And by the way, I was like really excited to call the Celtics game, so I wasn't going to get in the car.
Yeah, you're very smart. We had a guest on the show a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the Maxwell trial, and we came to the conclusion that if you're ever just randomly approached by a very, very attractive woman, run away. It is something is amiss.
Yeah, most of us are not built that way.
Yeah, and if you
We're
are
just randomly.
you are built that way, you know that you're built that way, and you've dealt with that situation before. But if like a stone cold 10 walks up to you and she's like, "Hey, what's your name?" It's like, "Fed. You're a federal agent. Get away from me." Yeah,
that was an unbelievable end of that book. I don't know if you guys caught on to any of that stuff. Michael Wolff, who's done all the big profiles, did the Rupert Murdoch bio. He has the Steve Bannon transcript with Epstein right before Epstein basically goes to jail. And Bannon is trying to talk him through how he would do, his big sit down, because they're trying to get Epstein in front of a camera, tell his side of the story. You're like, look, you've made mistakes, but you're not a bad guy or something. Like it was unbelievable how they were trying to sell it. And the entire transcript of the conversation is in the last Michael Wolff book called Too Famous. And it's I had him on because I was like reading it, getting done with it. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Because the guys are just sitting around going like, well, how bad is this? And Bannon's like, it's bad. It's really bad, man. And then a couple other guys were like Epstein's dudes who were like, well, maybe a little, maybe we go out there, like, I don't know, 60 minutes. Like that'd be neutral, right? And the guy's Bannon's like, no, 60 minutes is going to try to destroy you. Do you not understand that? And he's like, well, maybe the right angle, the right lighting. Yeah. And then the whole transcript is there where Bannon's running him through a fake interview. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's worth it just for that.
I bought that book. I started reading it last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Great.
You told me about it. So I went out, I got it, and I read the first couple chapters about Jared Kushner.
Okay. So what do you think so far?
So far, it's nothing like really shocking, but the way that
Yeah.
it's just always interesting to see people at the highest levels of power in the world still have the same like self-consciousness about them, still have the same interpersonal dynamics as a group of middle school children trying to navigate who's the most popular kid in the school. And one person who might doubt themselves, who might lack a little bit of that confidence, but still sees an opportunity for them to advance in the world, finds the one thing that they can control. In this case, it would be like access to President Trump. And so Kushner was like, even though nobody respected him, he developed a relationship with Trump that he was the person you had to go to get to Trump. And so then he developed power around the White House. He was able to move people around, get people promoted, get people fired, just based on how he was able to like keep all his other friends away from being friends with his best friend.
Yeah, it's amazing because no one has respect for him while they all had tremendous respect for him.
Yeah.
And he basically became the most important guy, I think, close to Trump. Not peak, but his stability to be able to hang around. And even though he looks like some dork who's going to get bullied, which isn't exactly a huge departure from how he looks, he's also pulling strings on all sorts of things, thinking about his play long term. And he never really seemed to piss people off, which, again, that seems like a generalization. But from the book, it was like he kind of knew which moves to play all the time and kind of hang in the shadows, but yet he was still the super important guy. When you get to the Giuliani chapter, that's when the book is totally worth it. Because the Giuliani stuff is just, you're sitting there being like, wait, what?
Do you want his phone number? Do you want Rudy Giuliani's phone number? I can give it to you.
Have you guys had him on?
We have not. I've tried calling him on the show a couple times, but I used to text with him back and forth a little bit until he blocked my number, but I can give it to you. He usually responds to texts. I'm serious. I'll give it to you. He doesn't care. He's drunk all the time. So
I know. That's what they say in the book. I had no idea. Like all these times he was going on CNN and people in the book were like, he was just shit-faced all the time.
Yeah. No, he's
like
living the life. Yeah, Kushner is that chapter is eye-opening. There's a little bit of me that kind of understands the whole obsession with gossip. You know how people read the trashy magazines in the airports about like who's dating who. For me, that's like reading a nonfiction book about a presidency, about a White House. That's my equivalent, where I get the same thrill out of it. It's just different subject matter.
Wait, so quick question: Bannon and Epstein were colluding at some point? They're talking?
Yeah, I've read a few different books, and I'll tell you, I know he's not a super popular character for a bunch of different reasons, but Bannon is a very impressive guy intellectually, and I know that. Whatever.
We're going to take that as a quote card, by the way. Steve Bannon is a very impressive guy intellectually. Ryen Russillo.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe it was the party that he was keeping too, because like all of these different times I read about Bannon in different situations, I'd be like, actually, Bannon comes off as the most impressive guy out of this group. And basically, Epstein, all the charges are out. He was back in New York City. He's hanging out with a lawyer, and almost no other lawyers would even want to represent him. There's a PR firm that I think was going to charge him $3 million a month. And I think he was willing to do it, and then they may have backed out. And then there was some high political figure from the Middle East that was just hanging out at his place too. And then Bannon got on the phone with them, and they were just trying to strategize on how to try to figure out, like basically their position was if it wasn't for the Me Too movement, this wouldn't be that big of a deal. Again, they're delusional with a lot of the stuff, where Bannon is constantly being the one sane person in the room going, what are you guys fucking talking about? Like that's not like, what are you talking about? He's like, if there's any way we can do it, we have to do it this way. And, then there's a big thing too, where it's kind of like, hey, would your guy Trump help out? Would he do anything? And then I forget what Bannon says at that point, but look, if you read the end of the book, you'll understand everything I'm saying, because it's just word for word what they actually said. And Wolff, I think, is one of like a couple people that have ever seen or had the access to these mock-up videos.
Yeah, Bannon, everything that I've read about the guy he is laser focused and he is intelligent. He's got some very, very out there ideas, and he's like, kind of a psycho in certain ways. But
I'm not talking about his ideology. I'm just saying that it's when you compare him to the other guys.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You never know with podcasts every now and then. But when you compare him to the other guys, you can't help, like playing out all the characters interacting with each other. You're kind of left with like, all right, well, I get why this guy was successful.
Yeah. No, I've heard that about the guy too. And so, man, what would be your media play if you were a PR department that was hired by Jeffrey Epstein, and they're like, hey, who Who should he be talking to? What show should we get him on? The only thing that jumps to mind is Tony Dungy. If you get Tony Dungy to sit down with, Tony Dungy loves rehabilitating people. It's like his pet project that he has. If you fuck up, go live in Tony Dungy's cabin for a month, and then you'll come back and you'll be like, okay, he's a changed person. Like, just do Bible study with him for a little bit. Maybe I don't know, the sports world, Tom Rinaldi. Just cry with Tom for a little bit.
Get him on the van with Gruden.
Yeah, yeah, hot ones.
Bus.
You get him doing hot ones.
Hot ones.
There's really no
Hot
good
ones.
strategy. Like,
No.
who do you
That was kind of the conclusion that they came to. Like, they were talking about how it would take months, if not a year, to coach him to be ready for every angle, you know? And so I don't know. Look, when you get to the end of the book, I'll expect a text from you where you go,
yeah,
wow, okay, that was insane.
I'll let you know. We should drop back to Elizabeth Holmes real quick, because there were some other fun details about her.
Yeah, fire away.
So she had a security detail, much like Steve Jobs used to have his car that he used to change his lease every month, so he never had to have a license plate put on it. She had a similar situation where she would be driven around by her security team that would replace her car every month, so she didn't have to have a license plate. And she made them call her Eagle One. That was her code name when they were talking on like their earpieces and walkie-talkies about her.
And then wasn't Sunny Eagle too?
Yeah, her lover slash
COO.
COO of the company slash mentor, Sonny, was Eagle 2. And Billy, I want to get to some of these text messages that you alluded to, because it's probably the biggest deterrent against committing massive fraud is knowing that your text messages might be read in open court, like all of your text messages. You could say like, okay, you might go to jail for 20 years. You might have all this stuff happen to you. Yeah, you shouldn't commit fraud on people's medical history. But ultimately, the looming threat of having all your sex read out in a court of law and then passed out for everybody to see, that's really the worst punishment. So tell me about the romantic text messages they had.
Well, let me pull this up right now.
They're brutal.
They called each other Tiger, and to me, when I was reading some of them, I was thinking about that time that, you remember when Russell Wilson wrote an open letter to Ciara for, I think it was Valentine's Day or their anniversary, and he was describing how beautiful she was. It turns out that he had just Googled description of a beautiful woman and then copied and pasted the entire paragraph and then tweeted that out saying he wrote it for her. That's what this reminds me of when they're talking about each other.
Little side note, one of my favorite little caveats of the whole Theranos discussion is she hired her little brother, who then hired all of his like frat brothers, and there was this whole little section of the company called the Therana Bros, who were just literally doing nothing, but like they were supposed to be like networking and doing some sort of like, but they were just partying the whole time on the investment dime. And the Therana Bros sounds like the most ridiculous. Your dream job. Well, no, it sounds like the most ridiculous like situation ever.
And you're not culpable because you didn't know any better. You're just a Theranos bro.
I'm a Theranos bro. Like I had money, I had a company card. I was just going out San Francisco, across the country, across the world.
Do you have the sex?
Yes. Here's some of them.
That's an amazing question.
The weird thing is they talk in short text speech, but not like current text speech. Like not like what the kids use. Like,
well, he's
weird.
old, remember?
Yeah.
He's super old.
He was 20 years older than her?
Yeah.
Yeah. When your family is here, I feel lonely because, spelled BCZ, spend a total of 10 seconds with me a day. Balwani messaged Holmes in November 2013. I tried so hard to engage you, you had no interest. Holmes said later that day. Don't try to engage with me next time. Seems like it won't work, Balwani responded. My new life as of this night and forevermore. Total confidence in myself is best business person of the year. Focus, details excellent. I don't give what anyone thinks. Engage employees in meetings by stories and making it about them. Holmes texted Balwani. It's just they text each other weird shit all the time.
I'm turned on.
But these are just some of the warm-up ones, and we're getting to some really weird ones later. This one's from Holmes to Balwani. I'm sorry I wasn't stronger for you this morning. That is my responsibility and my role. I will never let that happen again. I am strong enough for me and you and then some. I don't need you to be strong for me, Balwani replied. Holmes said in response, I had the privilege of being able to calm you as a mother energy. And later on, my job is to love you when you're stressed. Yeah. Who knows what? So
there were some ones that are like, you are my earth.
Yeah, we're getting
You are Mother Rain.
This was more like Balwani would always be super critical of her in text messages. You are speaking with everyone in your giddy voice. Excessive use of awesome, Balwani told Holmes in April 2015.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Holmes sent back. I have molded you, Balwani said. You are rambling now. Let's stay focused. I am sorry for last night. I will get better, Balwani texted Holmes in August 2015. I love you. Holmes responded, okay, entire flight I was feeling really bad and sad for last night. I'm really sorry, Balwani replied, followed by a second text. I need to change my life, and I will. Yeah, so that was some of the weird texts that they used to say that Balwani was emotionally abusive. But let's get to these.
Maybe just a bad hang.
Yeah.
Found guilty, you know?
Yeah, chicks always love it when you say, like, hey, you should stop talking like that. That's one of their favorite. That's a big turn on.
And she's like, you know what I'll do is I'll defraud people out of $9 billion.
Yeah, that's a natural reaction. You should do a podcast, Ryan, where it's just evaluating, would this person be a good hang? That's actually
I've
your
done it
show.
before.
That's actually your entire show.
Yeah. I'd be like, I don't think I'd want to hang with this guy. Yeah, because there was like Russell Wilson to me would have been a bad hang. I was early on this, early position. Think he's a terrific quarterback.
Yep.
Terrific quarterback. Love him. Defend him all the time. Would have wanted him to be MVP one year. But it was very clear to me the way he talked. I was like, nope, no way. Summer house. Because we do that every now and then. You'd be like, who would you rather have as a summer house roommate? You know?
All right.
And,
what about Jimmy G? Do you think he'd be a good summer house guy? I don't think he would.
I think he'd be fine. I think he'd be fine.
I think he's too good looking.
So here's the really cringy ones. So
are we reading all of them, Billy?
Yeah, but this one's the good. This was the other ones were the only ones that were released were the ones to try to show him as controlling.
Billy was trying to establish like an entire narrative around this, right? And if you give him a second,
you are breeze in the desert. You are breeze in desert for me. My water and my ocean. Madly in love with you and your strength. Feel like the luckiest person in the world because I have you. The certain outcroppings of the one they released, because these were the only ones released to prove that he was controlling. So the really good, like juicy ones, we probably haven't even seen yet, and we only got the "you're the breeze in the desert for me," like "you're my sun and my moon," that sort of stuff.
That would creep me out if I got that text message from somebody.
Yeah. Meant to be only together, tiger.
I'll tell you about a terrible
tiger.
A terrible friend phase is when texting first started blowing up. Guys started sending dirty texts to each other and then always followed immediately like, oh, that was for somebody else. But they did it. We were doing it to like our college roommates and stuff on purpose. And it was just the worst because you would read it and it would be your buddy sending you something. And even though you knew it was a joke, you just hated the whole process of it. And then it was just auto. Everybody be like, oh, sorry, that's for somebody else.
It was that. And then like sending pictures of your shit. That's what
guys really
do.
get excited. Guys get excited. There were people that said we're done. This will disband the entire crew. There's a rule being if you guys want a side shit thread, you guys go ahead and do it. But there are too many people that are against this movement, so we were able to shut that one down.
I had a side shit thread too, but it was for a while it was either. Anytime you develop a new form of communication that a lot of guys are using, they're going to use it to either imply heavily that they just got laid or send their buddies a picture of shit. Those are the first two things.
I still get very strong urges to send pictures of my shit to people. I'm going to start doing it to you, PFT.
Please don't.
Well, you guys
send
on
it Chaps.
Snapchat?
Chaps loves that stuff.
That's true. Yeah, but that takes all the fun out of it. Like, I don't want you to enjoy it.
You know he's getting off on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Snapchat was started so guys could send pictures of their shit to each other, right?
There's a new phenomenon with Snapchat that's probably guys in the friend group like sending their buddies like they're like looking super douchey. Like there's different Snapchats you'd send a girl than one you send your buddies.
What do you send to your friends?
Like you send like funny Snapchats, but like when you send like a girl a Snapchat, it's like you like with a douchey face.
Okay.
And
So you're sending
sometimes-
girl Snapchats to your
I'm
guys
sold.
as a joke.
yeah, no, but it's usually an accident, and you're like, dude, what? It's like it's hard to explain.
All right, I'm a girl. What are you sending to me?
Yeah, what would you send to me, Billy?
Don't answer that question.
Good point. Yeah, there you go, Big T. Looking out for him. Don't incriminate yourself.
Thank you. No, but there's people out there who get what I'm saying.
Do you think that she went to Stanford just to drop out?
By the way,
You think
that's
she
a
ever
new
had
thing.
any?
Yes.
You think she
Yes.
ever had any intentions of graduating? Because I'm pretty sure, like, there's some panache to being a college dropout, right?
There's actually tons of
Absolutely.
people who are dropped. Like, I think there's like Harvard had an insane amount of dropouts to do like since Zuckerberg and everything, because people think like, oh, I'm at Harvard. Like, now that I got into Harvard, what's like the craziest like thing to bet on myself to drop out of Harvard?
Yeah.
And then it's the weirdest thing. I've actually met a kid who has dropped out of Harvard, and the funniest thing was he's like doing a startup. He had the deep Theranos voice.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a thing out there.
I do think that people just go to college now so that they can say, yeah, I dropped out of college like Bill Gates, like Steve Jobs,
Yeah, it's going to get back to where completing your degree is the cool thing to do.
like Kyrie Irving
Yeah.
dropped out of college.
Get out of that early. You know what? This is kind of where I don't know if I'm playing the results or what, but I'll see certain things in all of these stories where I'll go, the little thing, the snapshot of something tells me everything I need to know. When you watch the documentary and you see her and Sonny come out and dance, I'm like, this company sucks. Out. She's in charge of this. Did you just see her dance? Did you see when she came out and clapped? And I go, that's a moment. So like Adam Newman, the WeWork founder, right? When he got into surfing, but then he realized, because what sucks about surfing? All the stuff they leave out in the pamphlet, getting destroyed by the break, trying to paddle out in position. Okay. And then if you get dumped and then you're just rolling around and then you're like, I got to start all over again. And I haven't had any of the fun parts. And it's been a half an hour and my shoulders fucking kill and I'm sweating in my suit. Like they leave that part out, man, because that part's tough. So Adam Newman would be like skied into position. And you're like, dude, this isn't the US Open. He would just get jet skied out when he was casually surfing in the Hamptons. So when I saw that, I went out. Like that guy can't be the CEO. Have you guys seen The Line yet on that Navy SEAL case? Have you seen the documentary on Apple TV?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, is that
Got
about the guy who got pardoned?
War crimes.
Yeah.
War crimes. That's right. Trump gets involved, whole deal. Unbelievable documentary. 4-part. Stop what you're doing. Go watch it. They show a part of the SEAL in question where they do this kind of shoulder punch thing and everybody has to shoulder punch another SEAL. And the way the guy does it, I'm like, that's a bad hang. I always feel like whenever we have these instances of trying to figure out like who the person is and what their motivations are, there'll be these little slivers that they didn't even realize that they're giving us the information. And maybe it's my own value of my observational skills, but I swear I'll see something where I go, oh, okay, yep, that's why it didn't work out because
Isn't
of
that-
this.
So
That
did
was
he do
kinda
like,
like-
Sorry,
like
Cole, go ahead.
well, like when Dukakis lost the presidential election when he like got in that tank and he put a helmet on, right?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the old. I remember that.
I think
I was a huge Dukakis guy in '88.
yeah,
You know, I couldn't-
that's what
I couldn't
radicalized
vote.
Ryan actually was seeing that picture. He just flipped immediately. No, the Dukakis thing, that's more of a like
I was 13, by the way. So
that's a snapshot. That's like it's a bad look. I don't think I would write the
he
guy
may not
off
be
for
guilty of anything, but no, you're right. Your point of like seeing something and then it completely shifts. For Dukakis, like he even did something recently. There's a documentary where he talks about it. He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like it totally like, everything went. There was also some
best.
right. They also did some stuff on the political campaigning on the right that just ate him up because of the instance where there was somebody at work release in Massachusetts, and
Yeah.
since he was the governor, it was on him.
the revolving door prisons, right?
That's right. That's the ad.
Yeah.
And so that didn't do Dukakis. So I get your point, but like I'll just see certain things with these people or the WeWork guy. I remember just reading the book, being like, I'm 300 pages in. There's all these things that he's done are fraudulent, and I go, wait, he got towed out to surf, just regular breaks. I'm like, yeah, fuck this guy.
Yeah, that's not cool. It's
Not in.
It's disrespectful. It shows you a lot about who he is as a person. I think we all make snap judgments like that. I will say that I think Ryen is way more practiced than the rest of us at picking those things out. So you're probably better at that than 99% of the populace. Like identifying one moment about somebody and being like, I'm out on this guy.
Making it about their whole life. Yes.
Yeah. Taking
It's
one
totally
small
unfair.
part. It's
Yeah.
unfair, but
I don't think
sometimes
it's unfair.
not. Sometimes
I really
it's not
don't think it's
unfair.
unfair.
Like, wait, what does that guy do? You know, it's just like when I'm trying to think of, like, you hear about like somebody who doesn't tip. You're just like, wait, what? The guy doesn't believe in it. Okay, I don't need to know anything else about you.
I'll go one step further. If somebody is active on Yelp, I don't care if you leave good Yelp reviews. I don't care if you leave bad Yelp reviews. I'm out. We're done. This is not you. You have deputized yourself as being like an authoritative critic on an app that you have no stake in. I'm out. Don't need to do this anymore. Also just as somebody like if they use Apple Maps, I'm out at that point. If I see the Apple Maps,
What's wrong with
up.
Apple Maps?
yeah, I don't know. Dude,
It's right there. It's right
unreliable.
on your phone. It's never led
No,
me
you-
wrong.
you know
not
what?
once.
You only use Apple Maps because your phone tells you to, because it's the automatic.
If you don't use Waze, you're, I don't know, low.
It's
IQ.
kind of like somebody at Chipotle that sticks their hand over the counter, points it down,
Wow,
to the sweetness, and it's like, hey. And if I see somebody do that in line, I go, I don't need to know anything else about that person.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually what people are calling icks nowadays. That's a new TikTok
Oh yeah,
trend.
the ick.
What's
Catching
that?
the ick. So you know when you meet someone, this is a big thing like in dating.
Ryan, we need to do a podcast where it's somebody explaining TikTok trends to you. I think.
Yeah, totally. 'Cause
I was never into TikTok until
I
it
am.
became my job.
All right, so yeah, Mad Dog, what is it?
So when you catch an ick, so
Your job predates TikTok. What are you talking about?
Well, no, I gained some more responsibilities recently, so
so you know when you're talking to someone or meeting someone for the first time or the first couple times and you're not super close with them yet, and they do one thing and it completely turns you off for someone and you can never look at them the same or like never even like hang out with them again.
Yeah.
That's an ick.
So give me an example.
So girls will say like
trying to wave down the waiter.
Murder.
trying to wait
Yeah,
murder,
trying to wave down
a cab
the waiter at the restaurant. The waiter ignores
them. That's an ick. Or when thinking about a boy, like putting on socks in
It's
the
more
morning.
girls complaining about dudes.
Hang on. If you try to get a waiter's attention and he doesn't respond
No, like
to you,
But then
that's
you
your
get it's
fault.
like
You
you're
weren't assertive.
embarrassed.
You weren't assertive enough to catch his attention
Or like
Wow.
or their attention.
Tough
like
crowd.
one of my
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's fair.
I
think that's fair for a girl to see that
and be
and
like not
be
ick.
like, you know what? He just got rejected. He's not alpha enough for me.
Yeah. Or like if someone uses the crying laughing emoji still, that's an ick.
Oh yeah. Who
I've
would do
said
that?
for years,
Oh,
It-
canceled
Yes.
emojis?
Totes.
It's
Just
really
that one.
I haven't used that for.
there needs to be a
years.
regular laughing emoji. It's just that one. Like you can't laugh reasonably, you have to laugh hysterically. It's bullshit. I've said this for 10 years.
How
Yeah.
would you? I mean, they have like the smiling mouth open one.
Yeah, but that's not a laugh though. I don't know. That guy, you can tell he's laughing. He's having a great time, but I want to be having a moderately great time.
Well, they've got.
That's
I mean,
LOL.
they've the guy who's tilted on his side, crying, laughing. No one's ever laughed at as hard as that emoji is portraying.
Agreed.
With the tears coming out sometimes.
Yeah, or think about him, like if you think about him, this one is from TikTok, like someone just beat a piñata and then you see the guy running to go pick up the candy that falls from a piñata.
That's an ick.
That's the whole point of the game.
But like think
No,
about
but it's no, but
think about a grown man going
Yeah, you
and
don't-
run to get candy
you don't
from a
want
piñata.
you don't want girls to know that you want stuff.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
I'm,
You gotta
now
play
I'm
it cool.
picturing I think we just posted this. We like someone did a piñata, like gender reveal. So what if like that guy swings and misses, and his wife carrying
Yeah,
his
that's
baby is
an
like
ick, too.
ick, divorce,
Yeah.
no visitation.
It's one of those, an ick is something where it's like there's no turning back. So if like
It's
I've had icks
usually-
with friends where like or like people I'm trying to get to know and I'm like I can't be friends with you if you do like XYZ. Like I just can't be around you and I can never turn back and I will never look at you the same.
It's applicable to basically all the dating app culture where people are meeting each other for the
And if
first
like
time
one
in person.
minute
Yeah.
details off. It's
because
also,
they hyper analyze the date.
I think this is an episode of Seinfeld. This has been done before. It's like, oh, she's got man hands.
yeah, and then that can be an ick. Like, oh, she has man hands.
That was every episode of Seinfeld.
True.
Like Elizabeth Holmes' voice would be an ick,
I would say if she
or her not blinking.
if she goes out of her way to order sparkling water
Yeah,
at dinner,
yeah,
I'm out.
yeah.
See ya.
Or like, imagine if like she like seeing a boy like swim with goggles on.
That's an ick. Using protecting your eyes.
Michael Phelps.
Another one could be like if you invented something that told people they had AIDS.
Yeah,
They
that's
didn't.
That's
just telling
that's a
people
pro right there,
like
Ryan.
telling random people that they have AIDS when they don't.
Yeah, that's a pro way to bring it back to the topic of conversation. And you can go whenever you want because I know that you probably have other stuff to do today than to get into TikTok trends with us, and it's been a long time. So you're free to disconnect whenever you want. Trust me, we'll be okay. But you got any other like big things that you want to talk about with Elizabeth Holmes? Anything that stood out to you?
You know, I couldn't help but like feel like it's a very believable thing that's like completely unbelievable that it happened, right? Because if the tech is so confusing and it was all, it was all kept private because of intellectual property, that she was brilliant and that she just had a couple people with enough juice to tell the rest of the people. And then you start to feel like you're left out if you can't invest in this thing that you don't understand, that you at that point don't realize doesn't even work.
Yeah.
And it's funny how simple it can be. Like once a couple real people are there from the beginning, and she knew how to play that. And that's why, for whatever her multiple defenses have been, and they've kind of pivoted at times. I know we all know she knew what she was doing, and the sentencing is 9 months from now, and all indications are it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah. Do you think that she or how do you think she was able to keep her product team and like the marketing team? You would think that somebody that was working on the actual machine doing the manufacturing.
Well, that's kind of how it all came down, though.
Would
Remember,
know that this was just something that didn't work, right?
Right, but then remember that was the grandson or the great nephew, whatever, the kid that's actually in the documentary. He's a big part of the book too, who actually leaks the story to Carrigue, who's the Wall Street Journal writer, who gets into it with Boyce and the lawyers. I mean, it's nuts how crazy this is. And I remember in the book, they went out of their way to make sure there was never any interaction. So there were people in departments that didn't know how far behind the tech was. The engineers didn't know how screwed up, their stuff was in comparison to other things, because she just knew I can't have everybody be on the same page, because if they realized how bad this is, then everybody would walk. So she would try to keep everybody separate. They were monitoring everyone's emails. Mm-hmm. It was out of control, and they weren't even like monitoring emails to gather info. They were monitoring emails and then admonishing people for things that they had said in emails to other people about the product and stuff. So everybody that was kind of scared, like you think you're getting in on the next big thing at tech. And, another thing that we do is you start rooting for the outcome that you want. Mm-hmm. So even if there are signs that are like, this isn't working out, it probably takes you a while to get to that point where you realize, holy shit, this has been a massive waste of my time. And I'm not going to be on the ground floor of the next big thing and the thing that revolutionizes medical treatments. It seems like, hey, how could that happen? These are the smartest people in the world. How could they fall for this? And then when you map it out, you're like, actually, it's pretty easy. It's crazy.
Yeah, people they want to believe anything that will make them feel like they're smart. Anything that's in their
or rich.
Or they're going to be rich. It's very easy to convince somebody of happy news, right? Also, I like your wall decoration that you still have that Van Halen poster up there. It
1984.
It adds a little bit of credibility, a little bit of forcefulness, and it emphasizes your knowledge on all things, really, whenever you get into the deep stuff and you've got a Van Halen poster behind you. I appreciate that.
I also think Starship Trooper by Yes is underrated. Give that a listen.
All right. Yeah, no, I haven't actually listened to that as much Yes as I would have liked. I'm more of a Kansas guy.
Telling you, if you get into Yes, you're not going to be bummed out with your investment.
Okay. All right. I
will see Coley writing it down. It's YES.
I will get into Yes. anything else you want to get into with her? I think she's just fascinating. She's a fascinating person.
No, hopefully you guys get her on.
I would really
Open
like
invite.
to know where Balto is, and turns out she used to let Balto poop in the office during meetings, just
Everywhere.
And yeah,
That's
she
a power move.
yeah, he was
Ick.
not housebroken.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker. If your girl boss, lady friend, has a dog that shits everywhere,
That she calls a wolf.
that's a deal breaker, guys. Yeah, a fake wolf.
By the way, don't Google Balto because there's no spoiler alerts on that movie.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, it's like the fourth thing down. I'm like, all right, don't need to rent that now.
It's a legendary tale.
It's an awesome tale.
We haven't had a solid movie about an animated dog recently.
I forgot. I mean, should I? Well, this
Paw
doesn't.
Patrol?
But
Our Air
Balto-
Bud has
More of a series.
Bud hasn't
Patrol's
done
a
shit.
movie.
Paw Patrol's canceled.
Paw
You can't
Patrol's
say
a-
that anymore.
It was a series. They had a movie.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Wait, did Balto bring vaccines, or what did he bring?
Oh yeah, and I'm out. I'm out. Fuck that dog. That dog was infringing on all the other dogs' liberty.
Yeah, wait. Oh no, he diphtheria
Depends
antitoxin.
if they were required or not.
No, it's an antitoxin.
Yeah, you can't remake Balto these days.
Yeah.
Too political.
But that's actually, now I get her move by calling the dog Balto because it was bringing medicine in Alaska.
mhm.
That was actually pretty smart.
Clifford also just came out last year.
Oh yeah,
Horrifying.
Yeah, Big Red Dog. I saw the trailer for that.
yeah. I saw there was a big ad for it in Times
Gotta
Square.
be honest with you, trailer was better than I thought it would be.
He's big.
There were multiple people on the last flight I was on watching Clifford. Like no kids to be seen, just watching some Clifford.
What was Clifford's
Yeah.
deal? Would he
He's enormous.
get into mischief? He was big, but was he a mischief maker, or did he have like a bad side to him?
I think it was like Garfield felt intentional.
Uh-huh.
I feel like Clifford, it was just his disposition.
Clifford, his only crime was being too big. He was
Yeah,
That's
he would
what I
just like
believe.
break something. They'd be like, "Oh,
He was like Andrew Bynum.
Guys, I got bad news that is actually very, very fitting to the entire story. Balto was a fraud.
I can't deal with this, Billy. That's an entire
Bal-
other
they-
episode. that we have
Balto,
to get
they don't
into
think Balto actually led the sled team.
Okay, that's another episode. Next week we're getting into Balto. We're going to do a deep dive on.
By the way,
Balto.
you know who was in the first one? Phil Collins.
No way.
In case you didn't know. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to. Yeah, we'll get really into that. Ryan, thank you for joining us. I'll let you get back to your real life, where you discuss things that matter.
All right. I don't even know how to say goodbye to this, but I appreciate the invite.
Did you have fun?
I did. I had a blast.
Okay, cool. We'll see you around.
I'll see you in LA.
Yeah, that's right. We gotta.
That's what people are saying.
We
Yeah.
gotta hang. We gotta get a workout in or something. So
I know. I just realized we were going to try to do something for everybody coming out, and then the NBA trade deadline is the Thursday before the Super Bowl, so that greatly impacts. I don't think I'll be able to make it to the FHM party this year.
yeah, it's too bad. Jay Glazer is gonna be like, "Where's Ryan? Where's Ryan? Ryan should be here." All right, give us your prediction. Rams Cardinals. This is coming out tomorrow morning.
All right. I'm going to go with my guy Kingsbury.
Your best friend.
Huh.
Yeah,
Beach house. Who would you rather hang in a beach house with? Sean McVay or Cliff Kingsbury?
Kingsbury. Doesn't matter. It's always Kingsbury. I got a text from Big Cat this morning. He's like, "Hey, you and your buddy Kingsbury going over plans?" I said, "We don't really talk about football. We mostly talk about family."
Talk about chicks. Talk about chicks. All right. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for joining
Thanks.
us.
Bye.
For further reading, go listen to all of Ryan's podcasts that he has.
Thank you.
Yo, guys, you got any icks? Yo,
I think icks are so funny.
I know.
The examples you were giving were very funny. Like
The thing,
It's actually see,
It's
someone being very overzealous to get free candy from a pinata because it's not even like a full size.
No,
It's never anything good in there.
Uh-huh.
it's literally just like girls on TikTok trying to like get back at men by being able to like cancel like anything you do might make us reject you totally.
Like thinking
Oh,
about
I've been very aware of that for about 32 years.
like
Yeah.
like thinking of,
I was gonna say ick is just like a new term for like just not liking something about
Yeah,
somebody.
exactly.
It's like laughing at your own jokes.
yeah.
Like if ick was in the 80s, it'd be like, oh, you got glasses, ick.
Yeah.
Or like think about it if like someone like if someone like tripped.
Yeah, if someone tripped.
But if they trip when they're like all by themselves and then they have to like look around see if anyone's around.
But how would
Yeah,
anyone
one-
know if there was?
Are you
Nope.
okay?
You think
Just
about
chasing
it.
some girl down before she gets to her group of friends to let everyone know you tripped
Or
like a
it's like
human.
when you think about it's like creating a situation in your head, which makes it worse. But it's like, or like when when you're in the middle of telling a story and then people just like decide to not be interested anymore, and then you just slowly stop telling the story. It's like when like thinking about a guy like telling a story he's really passionate about, and then everyone just kind of starts ignoring him. And then
But
just-
wait, what are you? You're thinking about stuff in your mind.
Yeah,
happening.
no. It's not stuff that happens.
It is.
It's
It's like stuff on the first date that happens.
Yeah, but like girls will do it like girls will say like, oh my god, if you ever need to get over a guy, just think about him like
Oh, like in like
doing
having icks?
something. Yeah, like think about him running towards a pinata.
Jeez.
Like to get over your ex-boyfriend, think about him having to ask his mom for permission to like get $20.
This one actually makes sense. When you see his butt crack when he gets out of the car. Like I get that. Like, just like the top of his butt crack when his pants aren't pulled up high enough. That's Nick.
That's so bad.
I mean, now we're just talking about the entire plumber community.
No, I think
stable job.
There's a hilarious.
I think plumber butt is different. I think when you're getting just a random dude having a butt crack in a normal situation, like when he's standing up, I could see how girls would be turned off by that. Yeah.
Or like if he calls you baby, like think of a man calling you baby. Oh,
That's casual.
Yeah, it's casual.
No.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up, guys?
We got the Kings of Tennessee here. How you guys doing?
Feeling, bro. I'm good.
So we're gonna get into the Tennessee minute here. We've got Tyler, we got Hendon. It's been a while since we've talked to you guys. First,
It really had.
yeah. First question I've got is for Tyler, because Tyler, you went into the transfer portal and you didn't even let us break the news about that, and you were in the transfer portal for about 12 hours.
Yeah, I think it was like 16 total.
Yeah, the shortest time ever of anybody in the transfer portal. Tremendous hustle, and then you took your name out of it. What happened there? You're staying in Tennessee. Why did you go into the portal?
I went in the portal. Really, just there was a lot of shit going on, and I was just kind of making sure that Tennessee was the best spot. To be honest, yeah, we're just making sure that it was the right spot for me to be at.
Now, quick question: the portal, is it
Is it a physical place?
do you just like log in and like make an account?
Did they give you gear? Like, did you get like a hoodie that says like I was in the portal?
How does the portal work?
You get like a little pin, like some shit you can put on your shirt, like a little. Yeah.
You get
You
locked.
get
It was no, it's some paperwork you fill out with the NCAA and you submit it,
Oh, it's
and
paperwork.
then it's via email.
Okay, but you logged into the portal and then you logged out. I kind of respect the move, because essentially what you did was you were like, maybe I'll leave, and you made them think about that for a little bit at Tennessee, and then you made them think about what would life be like after Tyler, and then they thought about it and they panicked a little bit, and then you come back and you're like, yeah, you almost lost me, and it's gonna make them want you more, right? Like a relationship.
Yeah, type shit.
Yeah, something like that. Well, we're glad that you stayed. We're glad that you stayed, and Hendon, you're staying as well. You're coming back next year. Arian's not on this call right now, so he's not going to be around to berate you for your choice that you made to return to the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, he wasn't telling you to go leave.
I feel like I made a good choice.
Oh, you made the right decision for sure.
Yeah,
You almost left. Like how you?
but yeah, what went into your decision to stick around for next year?
Yeah, just talking to my family and coaches, and then getting back some evaluation from the NFL. Getting my draft grade back. I wanted to go a little higher than what I was projected.
Okay.
So coming back would give me a better opportunity to set my family up in the long run.
When it comes to the evaluation, did they circle some things like, here's what you're great at right now, here's what you need to improve if you want to improve your stock?
Yeah, just kind of tips, some things to work on for this upcoming year. That'll give me a better trajectory for the draft.
What's your hand size? That's the big one that a lot of weirdo GMs look at, and they're like, oh, this guy's hand
Bro,
is
hold up, all the time.
a quarter
This
inch
man's
too small.
hand is crazy. I don't even dap him up no more. Like, dude, hands big in the mud. That shit weird. It's weird. Like,
Big hands.
It's like 10, 9.
Holy shit, yeah. The fuck is wrong with you?
Bro, my hands are at a 10, and his hands way bigger than mine. Like,
Just I got 10.1 over here. Just want to put that.
Yeah,
out
well,
there.
those are baby hands compared to his.
Big hand club.
I
Can't
was gonna say
can't have the Junior Whopper hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Kenny Pickett, he's got some small hands.
He's got small hands.
but he wears the glove.
he cold though. Shit. I think it's proud.
Mhm. So we helped to get Josh Allen drafted a few years ago when the Bills took him. We made a website for him and everything. We improved his stock tremendously. We highlighted all things. One of the big keys about him was he had big hands. And I think your hands might actually be bigger than Josh Allen's hands. We might have to make you a website to help you promote yourself.
No, we're in the this is 2022. We're going to put you in the metaverse. That's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a billboard in the metaverse.
Draft Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Giant hands.
Let's get the billboard going.
In the metaverse, NFT.
All we require is 10% of all your contracts for the rest of your life. So we can work out the details later on that. Josh Allen owes us $15 million. So yeah, but we're very very happy that you're coming back. So we, as a podcast, had a big group thread going on. We've talked about the bowl game and everything that happened there. The general consensus is it was a crock of shit, the likes of which have never been perpetrated on the American public since football has been on television. At the end of the game, with the whistles or lack thereof in overtime, what was going through? What are your thoughts right now on that game? Are you still mad about it, or is that kind of like subsided by now?
Yeah, definitely still feel a way about it. Just because it didn't end how we wanted it to end, first off. But then just getting slime ball on the call at the end was definitely tough. Really, I didn't even know that Jalen Wright stuck the ball out over the goal line until after the play, and I looked at the jumbotron. I was like, "Oh, that's a touchdown!"
Oh, you thought it was chopped
like, oh man.
Yeah, and then
I thought it was touchdown.
Then they like retroactively ruled that the momentum had been stopped, but they never blew a whistle. But they can say like, we should have blown the whistle, so we're not going to count the rest of that play. It doesn't make any sense to me the way that they ruled that game. But
it was very wacky.
I tell you what, between that and Tyler's touchdown against Ole Miss, where it was also forward progress was stopped just because Matt Corral didn't know the play was going on because he's a dumbass. I've had about enough of forward progress. I'm sick of it.
Yeah,
when we're going forward, his forward progress is stopped. But when an opponent is not moving, his forward progress is stopped. I've had enough of it.
Big T anti-progress guy.
Okay, no.
You well said.
Forgot about my touchdown, bro.
Well said.
Damn.
Yeah, that game was crazy though. The entire fourth quarter, it was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like every time you guys scored, it's like there's too much time on the clock for them. Then every time they'd score, it'd be like there's too much time on the clock for you. What was that like from the offensive and defensive standpoint, where you're like on the sidelines trying to get a little bit of a break, but every time you come off the field, you have to come back on?
Yeah, really just anticipating that from the beginning of the game. Like, we know it's going to be a shootout regardless. Like, just being prepared for that definitely helps us out when it's actually happening.
Are you like, Tyler, can you just get a sack for me, man? Just like it.
The crazy thing was, like, me and like Byron Young and some other guys, Matt Butler, and we'll all be getting good pressure, and we just got to fix a little bit of the details.
Yeah,
we was all over the quarterback.
It was a crazy game. Big T, you got anything you want to get into them with? Tennessee related?
Tennessee related. No, I do want to mention though, there was another Cedric Tillman, the drive before at the end of regulation, is streaking down the sideline and Hendon had him wide open for a touchdown. Guy grabs his jersey and damn near pulls him to the ground. They didn't call that either. They were fucking us the whole game. It was bullshit.
It was a lot of the tugging on the receiver's jersey throughout the game. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that game. Other than that, I did while we were talking about Hendon coming back. Currently 21st in terms of Heisman odds at plus 6,000. That seems like incredible value to me.
Okay.
That seems way too low.
Plus 6,000. What's the schedule look like for next year?
So we have Pitt on the road out of conference.
Win. That's a dub.
And then we have Florida at home.
Win.
We'll have Georgia on the road. We were at Bama so we have Florida and Bama at home. We'll have Georgia on the road.
Okay.
And then our other cross, we play at LSU.
11-1.
I'd be down with that.
That's what it sounds like to me. 11-1 next year. What is there anything that we can do to help you guys improve your draft stock? Like, are there any things that we need to be highlighting for you as your propaganda arm?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Overall playmakers.
Just your playmaking ability, highlighting your playmaking ability.
Yes.
All right.
I do have one more question. This is just, but
Yeah, game changing. Yeah.
Game changer.
This is just.
I like that. There are too many playmakers out. Not enough game changers.
You want a motherfucker that's gonna do some shit during the game. You like, oh yeah, he might have won the game. Like
Gamers.
You know what? I feel like Tyler's a guy that opposing offensive coordinators, you keep them up at night. They're thinking about you at night. They're like, oh shit, this guy's gonna wreck my life on Saturday. What do I do about this guy? That's the vibes that are going on with you. We want to talk to you guys about what we can do to help you though, like during this off season, during the season, because we also want to like try to set you guys up. We want to get you guys started. Get your face out there more. So after you graduate, you've got some reps under your belt, doing media stuff. You've got some training, things like that. So how often do you guys want to come on the show? How often do you want to shoot the shit with us?
Shit, as much as y'all want us to do, like, to be honest with you.
Okay, we can also talk about maybe having you guys do something like some day in the life type stuff.
Yeah, that's what we had talked on the Zoom about last week.
Okay, so doing like some day in the life type stuff, some video.
Yeah.
Definitely get some good footage.
Okay, yeah, I think like seeing a little bit behind the scenes of what life is like at the University of Tennessee, where it's like the real stuff that they don't show you in the school commercials and things like that. I think that could be very cool. We can send you guys. Can we send them some equipment?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, whatever they need. I also think we should. You did the Draft Josh Allen website, but this one just needs to be draftahooker.com.
No, we don't do that anymore, Avery.
Hookerforhire.com.
Yeah.
Hooker for hire. That's what it is. Yeah. Big freak, yeah.
Yeah, no, Robert Kraft will call you immediately. You're going to be a Patriot for sure. Have you thought about what team you'd want to play for?
Whoever's paying, that's where we going.
It don't matter.
I like that. Good answer. Yeah.
Whoever,
A little bit of tweaking on that answer, just be like, I'm looking forward to an opportunity to compete. That should be your canned answer.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the right answer.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody asks you any stupid question, just be like, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to compete.
That's really what you say. If you go watch his post game shit, they'll be like, Hendon. They'll like say some shit where it's like putting him in a bad situation. He'll be like, man, we're just gonna compete harder, work harder, go back to the office. Like,
Go back to the drum.
It's good because sometimes with dealing with traditional media, the less you can tell them. It's like as long as you can get out of that press conference without saying anything, that's going to get your coach mad at you.
Always, that's what I was talking. Deflect.
Hendon, you got any plans? You going back to Greensboro anytime soon? You going to spend some time at Emerald Point Water Park?
No, I will not be at Emerald Point. But
what you doing looking at little kids?
No, bro.
Emerald Point was fun. A great wave pool there. I almost died.
Yeah, great childhood memories there. Definitely lost my family a couple times.
Bro.
Just wandering around by myself trying to get on.
I ain't lying, bro. I used to be turned when I got lost.
That's what I'm saying. But
when I got lost, I was like, oh, yep, I'm grown.
When they find me, it's over.
What was your move when you got lost? Mine was to like go buy a soda by myself.
I was about to say, go buy like a little lemonade or something at grown.
Yeah.
I would just go get on the ride. Like,
I would go get like a little drink and post up on a beach chair on my little iPod or something, acting like it's an iPhone. Thought I was hard. That's what I was on.
Are you guys water park guys or are you amusement park guys?
Neither.
I say both.
All right. You guys, yeah, you're complete opposite ends of the spectrum on that one.
Yeah, I don't like heights, water. I don't like.
Yeah, those are two things that are in abundance.
At both.
I don't like being in situations where I feel like I don't have control or like a fighting chance. Like.
Mm-hmm.
So do you not like flying?
No, I don't like flying.
I vibe with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Billy, you don't like flying either?
No, the whole like if you can't control the situation, fuck you out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like imagine if you're in the middle of the ocean, you ain't got no chance, none.
It's a good point. I haven't thought about that.
And then like, but the idea of like football.
But if I'm on the ground,
Yeah.
we got a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know I got a little bit of a chance.
Yeah.
Stay away from Lake Lanier. Don't go down to Georgia and go swimming in that thing.
I heard that shit bad. I heard
Yeah.
people be dying.
It's haunted.
Real bad.
Bad place, bad vibes all around. So yeah, we'll send you guys some equipment, and I would like you guys to actually like. I don't want to tell you what to do with it. We can say like day in the life or whatever, but I really just want to see what you guys like. If you're trying to create something, I want to see what you guys want to do with it. So like, completely open assignment, and just like have fun. Do whatever you think is going to be a good time. Whatever you think people like. Whatever you like doing. So
I was thinking, you have in the background like the little tapestry of you and Arian.
yeah.
If I wanted to do something for us to put in the back, like send us one of those if you want us in like the backdrop or something like that.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah, we can get like a poster or something made up for you guys.
You throw like me and Hendon's face in the background.
Okay. Yeah, I
Should be
like
alright.
it.
Yeah. Orange instead of green. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Just like visuals for people to look at.
I love it. Yes, we'll definitely do something like that for you. We'll get right on it. So yeah, just do open play. Do whatever the fuck you want. Have fun. And then we'll feature some of your content.
As a quarterback, you're down, let's call it 6 points. There's like 13 seconds left. Is your first thought and your coach calls like QB draw, no timeouts? Are you like, yeah, we're definitely going to do that? Or are you?
Where's the ball on the field?
Where was the ball for Dallas?
40-ish
Yeah, like the 40.
plus
We
40.
got 6 seconds.
13.
Oh,
13. It's not college cheap rules too, where they stop the clock because you got a first down. Like the clock's going to keep running.
Okay, and what's the D&D again?
Was it a dead ball before they ran the play?
I
Oh,
believe
was
it
it?
was.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be like, Coach, we ain't running that. Like, switch that shit up, dog.
I would
We ain't running
yeah,
that
straight.
shit. Yeah,
But I think what killed them though was
the ref fucked them
The
over.
ref killed everything.
Well,
He
you
knocked
like
everything.
you can't just set the ball yourself. That's anarchy.
Yeah, he did trip though. You got to get the ref. Like what they tell
Yeah,
y'all to get.
I mean, honestly, he should have just.
You gotta get the ref the ball, bro.
Yeah.
And then boom, and they have one shot at the end zone.
Kill it.
Yeah, it's completely different rules in college where you get the luxury of having the clock stop when you get that first down. You don't have to worry about it too
Nice.
much. But if you're the Dallas Cowboys and your plan revolves around the ref running a 4.7 40 to catch up with you and to spot the ball within a second of you putting it down, that's a bad play. You know what he should have just thrown the ball sideways out of bounds after he got down that far.
Didn't someone try that like 10 years ago? Not recently.
I bet they would do like a runoff, like a 10-second runoff or something.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
that a penalty?
Is there a
Delay
runoff?
I think it's a penalty.
I don't know if there's a
Delay.
runoff in the NFL,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure it's a
It
penalty.
would it would be a delayed game with 10-second runoff or some shit.
Or just like pitch the ball to his teammate who's closer to the sidelines.
Yeah.
That's something that we'll have to get into with you guys a little bit because I've got a project I've been working on where I think that the downfield lateral is going to change the direction of football. Being able to run almost like an option as a quarterback, but you're downfield when you do it, and your wide receivers are also empowered and equipped to do that when they catch a ball in the open field to make smart decisions. But if you've got a lateral open, to be way more ready to go with that instead of just an end of game scenario. Do it in the middle of games. Do it when you think that you have a chance to pick up another 10, 15 yards. I think that's going to change the future of offensive football. I'm working with the Green Bay Packers this offseason on teaching Matt LaFleur how to implement rugby-style offloads. I'll take what I learned from him, and I'll teach it to you guys, too, because I feel like if a college program can pick up on this, it's really the sky's the limit.
Also, if we're talking like branding opportunities and trying to get their names and faces really out there, calling it the Hendon hook and ladder, where it's all game. I mean, this is selling itself.
Oh wow, yeah. No, we're gonna market the shit out of you guys.
You might be just a couple coaches too late because we had a coach 2 coaches ago who was dumb enough to think that would work.
Well, if you coach it correctly, it will work.
Yeah, but
It
like
certainly would
he
work.
would have been all in on it. He would have been like, yeah, he would have done it.
Which
Who you
coach?
talking about?
Butch.
Oh, hell yeah, Butch would have did that. Bro, man, Butch cool as hell.
Who were you guys recruited by?
All 3 of them. Yeah. Butch, Pruitt, and Hype.
Wait, so Butch was still there when you were getting recruited?
Yeah, Butch offered me like September my freshman year in high school.
All right, listen, he's never going to get another big-time college job again. It doesn't matter. What's the dumbest thing he ever said? Because I know everybody that I've talked to.
I'm good with they people. Butch ain't said no stupid shit.
You'd be the first person I talked to who has known Butch Jones that has not had a story of something he said.
Calm down.
Did anyone who recruited you tell you they knew who murdered Tupac?
Nah.
Who just did that, Big T?
Jim Mora, when he was at UCLA, told Najee Harris that he knew who killed Tupac.
I love it.
Which is so ridiculous. I believe it.
I believe that he said that. I don't believe he actually knows.
I think he's not smart enough to make something like that up.
I think somebody told him that as a joke, and Jim Mora's like, "Yeah, I've got me, Jim Mora. I know the real details."
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. We're gonna send you some equipment, and Tyler, glad that you're coming back to Tennessee. Hendon, I'm glad that you're happy with your decision to return to Tennessee. We would have been happy if you had entered the draft as well, but it's good to have you back for another year. We get to spend another year talking to you about everything related to Tennessee football. So we're very happy for that. And if there's anything that you need from us, let us know. We'll be in touch though, and we'll get you some equipment and a poster.
Sounds good, man. Looking forward to the journey.
All right, let's do some voicemails. Actually, before we do some voicemails, I want to talk to you about our great friends over at Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep is the best mattress in the world. They've sent us all Helix Sleep. They sent some to Arian, who sleeps on a Helix Sleep every single night. We love them. I've had my Helix Sleep for months. I absolutely love it. My problem was I was sleeping on a mattress that was way too soft. It was giving me back problems. I had to get a more firm mattress. My back problems went away. I just thought the softer the better. I was lied to by Big Mattress my entire life. And now that I know the truth that not everybody is built to sleep on a soft mattress, my back feels way, way better. Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete. It matches your body type and your sleep preferences, the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for someone else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be the perfect way for the way that you sleep. Everybody's unique. Helix knows that. So they have several different mattress models to choose from. So if you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, you order the mattress that you're matched to, and the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights, risk-free. They even pick it up for you. If you don't love it, Helix is going to figure it out for you. They even have financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. And they've got cooling technology. If you're in a family where you guys can never agree on the temperature of the thermostat, Helix mattresses make it comfortable for everybody. And again, if you don't like it, Helix is going to take care of it. 100-night risk-free warranty. They will pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you're going to love it. $200 off right now, all mattress orders, and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/dose. That's $200 off. $200 off your mattress order, and you get 2 free pillows at helixsleep.com/dose. Mad Dog, voicemail.
Hey guys, Tyler, Memphis, love the podcast, for Hendon, Arian, Mad Dog, y'all are gorgeous. My question to everybody is, if you could sit down and talk with any one living person on earth today and convince them of one thing, who would it be? What would you convince them of and why? Also, I'm a dentist here in Memphis. I want to answer a question. If you have 1 tooth, you can still floss that 1 tooth. Anyways, close the podcast. Thanks, y'all.
Okay, that settles that. Okay, so the question is, you get to talk to one person who's alive right now. Has to be an alive person on the planet. Convince them of one thing. What is it? I think I'd like Big T to believe in evolution.
Define evolution.
Yeah, see, we're getting somewhere right now.
Ball's rolling.
I would that we started out in a primordial soup, and that we evolved from single cell organisms, all of us, into what we are today.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Okay, I'll have to keep trying.
That takes a much larger leap of faith than believing in intelligent design.
Yeah, no, because intelligent design is super easy to believe in.
I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah, watch. There was a guy, and then he made everything.
Yeah, no.
Yes, okay, fine. I don't have to learn anything else. Yeah, that sounds good.
You don't think that seems incredibly unlikely?
That there's a guy that just made everything?
Yes.
So now you're convincing me that intelligent design is fake.
No, I'm saying they're both
you're right.
ridiculous things to believe.
I think that Big T is correct, that it's incredibly unlikely that one guy created everything.
I find it more unlikely of what you described.
I think it's probably, they're about even. But that's my answer. Anybody else?
This is a hard one.
Oh, actually, no, I changed my mind. I convinced Dan Snyder to sell the Washington football team. I'd be like, Dan Snyder, you're an asshole. You should sell the team.
All of mine are sports related. Like,
yeah.
The only ways to improve the Celtics would be to have a GM make such a bad trade that takes our bad players and gives us a good one. That's what I would try and do.
Oh, I would convince the umps of the 2016 World Series Game 7 to not go on a rain delay.
Get your Guardians a championship.
Get my Guardians a championship.
Yeah.
I would convince Arian that an economic system that allowed him to make $40 million in his career might be an okay idea.
All right. Billy?
I don't know, man. I'd convince. That's a tough question.
I'd convince John Mara that treating his season ticket holders with more than a medium Pepsi is probably a good idea.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing ever. The medium Pepsi.
And the craziest part about it was not even the fact that it was a medium Pepsi, is that let's just say you're a season ticket holder and you have 4 tickets. It's still only 1 Pepsi.
Oh, it's 1 drink per ticket holder.
Per ticket holder.
Yeah, that's a crock of shit.
How insane is that?
That's so disrespectful.
Oh my God.
The fact that it's a medium.
Yeah.
That's what makes it real bad. That stings. Like, you couldn't even just give me a large or just tell me it's a large.
Even like a refillable cup.
A souvenir cup? Yeah.
Yeah. Just go back.
Free medium Pepsi day at Stadium.
So bad. So bad.
Coley, you got anything? Anything not sports related?
You could argue this is not sports related. I'd tell Enes Freedom to retire immediately so he could truly go do all this work he wants to get done.
Okay. All right. That's right. Defensive stopper. Enes Freedom.
Yeah.
Convince LeBron China is bad.
The Chinese government
is
bad.
Government.
Well, using Big T's logic, an economic system that's made LeBron James a billionaire is a good thing in his eyes.
Did y'all see what one of the Warriors owners said today?
I didn't know.
Oh, he let me find the quote. I don't want to misquote him.
Yeah, I saw it was going viral. I didn't read it though.
He said he didn't care about the Uyghurs in China, and he said nobody cares. Let me find the quote.
Which one was it?
At least he's being honest.
Chamath Palahapitiya?
Oh no, I didn't.
Palahapitiya? I don't. He said, quote, "Nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs, okay? I'm telling you a very hard, ugly truth. Of all the things I care about, yes, it is below my line."
Yeah. Then also, did you guys see that video I sent you guys?
Yeah, that looks bad.
Yeah.
Big T, I have a sincere question. How much of you caring about what's happening to the Uyghurs is mostly outrage at people that you don't like not caring about them?
I am anti-genocide in all forms.
Yeah, but you know what I'm asking, right? Like,
yeah, I don't like. I don't really agree with the premise of the question. Okay. Like, I find it insane and ridiculous to say you don't care about. Like, that's flagrant and different than someone. That's even very different than, like, you know, LeBron trying to, like, protect a business interest and talking about something he doesn't know about. That's flagrant.
I kind of agree with it. So not with what he said. I kind of agree with what Big T just said. Is what I'm saying. That he is protecting a business interest, but he's doing it in such a crazy way. And it's crazy because it's so honest and so straightforward. And it's him basically being like,
yeah, I mean, I guess at least he said what he meant.
He's like, I'm a billionaire. I don't have time to care about the genocide alleged genocide, I should say, because the Trump State Department released a report saying that they didn't have evidence of a genocide. They did have evidence of relocation camps and things like that, but according to Trump, they did not have evidence of a genocide taking place. But the alleged human rights abuses, I think, like just straight up saying, yeah, I don't care. They make me a lot of money over there, so that's beneath my pay grade to care about that. That's like a flagrant type of evil that's pretty fucked up. And yeah, LeBron James, he wants to continue making money.
Can we point, because to go off, but piggyback off your question, can we point to anyone who actually cares? And I'm not saying this like I don't care, like injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere, like it's a bad thing, but like, is anyone taking any action on this? Because until there's some action to try and stop it, like, yeah, I agree, no one cares.
I think there's a difference though in saying like you're saying people who spend every day thinking about it. I think that's very different than saying like, yeah, fuck it, like fuck that, I don't care.
Not even thinking about it, like making like an actionable movement towards stopping it. Because like right now, yeah, we're just thinking about it. Like I don't have any great ideas either, but it's like I haven't heard, all I've ever heard is what you were asking, PFT, people just kind of pointing it out to undercut other things.
Yeah, like this guy doesn't care over here. But
right, it's like, oh, you care about this guy getting murdered in this country. Interesting, you don't care about this other thing happening somewhere else. Like that's the only time I've ever heard it spoken about.
I think with LeBron, especially, he's become such a magnet for all kinds of criticism for everything, some of which he rightfully deserves. But when he's saying, I think when he's like trying to take a social justice route here in the United States, talking about different causes that he sees, different things that he wants to discuss on his multiple platforms and his shows and things like that. Some people that don't like the takes that he has about those things, the like systemic racism stuff that he discusses on his shows, are like, wait, how can you hate on this, but at the same time make money from your shoes that you're selling over in China, or that are being manufactured in China, and your league that gets paid an enormous amount of money that goes to the players, that is dependent on the Chinese government putting their stamp of approval on you. I actually think that that's a perfectly logical question to ask. But I think that sometimes people aren't asking it using like the perfect logic. They're not asking it in good faith.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's a bad faith argument, which is what I've ranted about on here before, and it is used more often than not. Like I'm a Bill O'Reilly type saying that isn't saying that because they're spending the rest of their show highlighting. You know what I mean? Like it's the only time they ever bring it up.
Yeah,
is to use it to undercut something else that they just don't like. They don't then get him off air and then spend the rest of the time focusing on it. They never bring it up again.
Right, because we're all hypocrites here. We all use my phone is
right.
Sent for my iPhone. That's a telltale sign. Like, okay, you are also relying on the Chinese government for things that you do in your everyday life. We all kind of are hypocrites that way. But I think there are some fair questions that you can ask LeBron James, especially about that.
Of course, but it's never. And I don't want to defend LeBron because I think he handles it so terribly. But it's never let off with that. It's always in response. It's always a push back against something. It's never like leading off the conversation. It's always in an effort to undercut something else that's happening, and then the whole conversation so far away from the original conversation that it's not even like you don't even know where you are anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it gets complicated too. It gets very complicated when you're talking about all this international commerce and capitalism, because you could also make the argument that having a codependent economic relationship with China is good for world peace. When both these are two of the biggest standing armies in the world, it's good that they're depending on each other for certain things that they can't afford to lose.
There also seems to be this finger pointing at China that tries to absolve us of any wrongdoing as a country. Like where outside of this one relationship with China, we're perfect. Like that's just also wrong.
Yeah. We're pretty close to perfect though.
Yeah, for sure.
We're working on it. Any other conversations you want to have with people? Anyone you want to convince of anything? All right, next voicemail.
Yeah.
Hey guys, John, that's it. My question what degree do you think you actually controlled the course your life has taken? I just want to know if you guys think you would point more towards external factors pushing you in one direction. You guys self-drive where you are today. Thanks. Love the show.
Well, there's this one fucking butterfly that flapped its wings over in China about 15 years ago that completely set my life on this weird trajectory. Now, that's an impossible question to answer, I think.
Yeah, it's been just a series of events.
But do you think those events have been like you causing them, or like you just think like you've been like almost in like a pinball machine, like bouncing around?
I don't think anybody really controls, like.
But you can control. You can't control the situations you get put in sometimes, but you can control how you react to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you controlled like having a job here instead of like after college instead of going to work at like a bank.
True.
And like PFT controlled starting to like comment on Mike Florio's blog.
On his tweets.
Did you ever actually comment on his blog?
Not once.
Hmm.
Not once. Never wrote a comment, but I did read almost all the comments. I feel like the comment section is all but disappeared. It's changed, it's evolved. Now it's more like, you get Facebook comments that get shared. You get tweets. It's mostly like people have taken control of their commenting. They own their own comments now, as opposed to commenting for free.
Yeah, like, so for this question, if all commenters were genuine and literate, you would be a completely different person.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Good point, Coley. I accidentally took a 6 milligrams in instead of a 3, and I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing.
I don't know. I think I've controlled a lot of my life so far. I think. I don't know though.
Yeah. No, you're still young. I
Yeah.
love watching Mad Dog just like learn things about the world.
I don't know much.
That's you are like a million steps ahead of most people that are your age then.
I don't peep the Reddit that often, the macrodosing Reddit, but I do but there was a recent post that was just like, Billy has 0 life experience.
I saw that. They were like, Billy needs to get some life experience. I'm like, what do you want Billy to do?
Like, what do you want me to do?
Besides like live.
Well, I mean, sometimes you do have life experience. It's just different. Like you've never been in the real world.
No, Billy and I have never been.
Is this not the real world?
No, it's definitely not.
Me, Billy, Avery, and Big T. Pretty much this whole podcast has never like stepped foot in the actual real world.
One of your co-hosts got a bottle of alcohol thrown at their head and wasn't fired or arrested. It's not the real world.
Wait, could a police officer? No, I guess Big T would have to press charges.
Correct.
If he got hit, I think by law,
Someone
they
would
had
have
to
report
call the
it.
police.
A
Well,
crime
and
has
it's-
taken place.
And it's on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, I mean, look at Hank. Hank's never been in the real world. Like
Never.
Way less than you. Hank has been in this world since he was 17 years old.
Around that, yeah, we did like one semester at like a community college or something.
Yeah.
But I've like worked several jobs.
Yeah, but like not like full-time adult
Yeah.
jobs. Like, is that a detriment? Is that gonna hurt?
Like
hurt me in
No,
5 years?
because your life experience is unique.
Right.
Oh.
Because like all the people our age are talking about how they like hate their like entry-level sales job.
Yeah.
Is that
I get scared that they're learning skills that
I'm not gonna have.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to be professional in a job.
Yeah.
Like
You'll figure it out.
Like writing emails.
Yeah, writing emails or what else do you do at a normal job?
You
Go to
circle back
meetings,
to people a
Circle
lot.
back, net.
I've done
Yeah.
Excel. I'm pretty good at it.
You say it like it's a
And
drug.
I've done Excel, like Argus modeling and stuff. I've done like financial models, but like feel like they might be learning crazy financial modeling.
See, I got a D- in my Excel class in college.
Yeah, I'm pretty much at that stage where I don't know Excel. I've burned the boat on that.
I don't think you're gonna have to need to know it.
I hope not.
No, I am nervous that I'm not gonna have enough like life experience to be like a fully formed person. By, like,
No, I
30.
feel like me and PFT would be more fucked if all this went away than you guys.
Yeah, you could adapt. You could roll with the punches.
We're old and dying.
But
Yeah,
you-
I'm a dinosaur.
What if we all served on boards
Of different companies.
different companies.
I don't want to serve on a board.
I want to serve on a board.
That's a lot of work.
I want to serve on the board for the ego of it.
I don't think it's much. I think you just show up to like
Meetings.
a meeting
You
once
like
a year.
approve decisions.
Yeah, I don't want to go to meetings.
Yeah.
Meetings. I'm out on meetings.
Do you ever have to go to meetings?
I go to meetings occasionally. Yeah, I'd say like once every 3 weeks I have a meeting that I have to be at.
I want to do some meetings.
I have
I've
meetings.
never done some
I
meetings.
have a lot of meetings.
Actually, I've done a couple meetings.
You don't want to be a meeting guy.
But like I
You don't
like
wanna be the-
official meetings. Like I do meetings with people.
you
Like,
meet up, like,
I meet up to discuss things.
but like you don't want to put it on your Google Calendar.
I want to get some Google Calendar invites.
Me and Marty have meetings a couple times a day. I meet with Glennie, usually in the mornings when he comes in.
But that's just you guys sitting next to each other.
Yeah, no, we meet. We get into it. We talk about what he's got on the docket.
I always kind of imagined I'd be wearing a suit and tie one day.
Yeah,
can
I
do
thought I
that.
would be wearing business professional at this point in my career.
Yeah.
You can do that. I did that for a month a couple years ago when I lost a gambling contest to Hank. I had to
remember
wear a
that.
suit for the month of January while everybody else wore jumpsuits.
Oh yeah.
I actually didn't mind it for the first couple weeks.
I
It's
feel
like
like it's so mindless.
It was a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's easy to style. So, for example, like people give me shit about how I dress. I'm like, I have no idea how to dress.
But yeah. I'm
That's
nervous.
why they give you shit.
I'm
Yeah.
nervous if I ever have to.
But
get
like, if
any-
I had if Simon wear a suit every day, I'd be able to like just like make
put
sure
on a
it's
blue
clean.
suit and put on
Like just make sure my shoes are polished or whatever, and just go to work, comb my hair.
Yeah.
I'm nervous if I ever get a real job like down the road. Hopefully, I never have to do that. But like that, I'd have to go in at 9 a.m. and like not wear like sweatpants. Like that's a big issue is to get.
I'm down with waking up early.
I've been getting up at 6:30 every morning for like the past 2 months, but then I go work out, and then that like takes time out of your morning, and then
It's so much easier to wake up 6 a.m. I feel than it is to wake up later because you
Why?
hit your circadian rhythm right, and it's like you know how it's easy to wake up in the middle of the night to go piss.
no.
Well, it's like easier to like wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like you're not as groggy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I kind of get that at 6 a.m.
Okay.
Like you're almost like shocked.
Yeah, like you still think it's nighttime.
Yeah, especially now when it's just dark.
Yeah.
All right. We got another voicemail.
Yeah, we got one more.
There's probably so many people who are just like,
Oh my god, they think we're idiots.
they think these kids.
Well, they
have
already
never
do.
learned anything.
We haven't. Can't get life experience until I live more. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, Carlos from Oregon, and question.
Huh.
You fear death.
Oh.
Expand on that as much as you want. Have fun with it. Personally, I do not, but I know a lot of people do, and so I'd be interested in hearing your opinions and your thought about it. Love you guys. Everyone's gorgeous.
We have a lot of callers from the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
We do.
I think we should go to like Seattle or something for a live show. It'd be creepy.
Do you fear death?
Absolutely, it's my biggest fear in life.
I think I'd be lying if I said I didn't.
I fear it every day.
I fear like what am I gonna miss?
I fear how I'm gonna die, like the pain of it. If it's like I get shot, what if I get shot in the head and I don't die immediately, or what the afterlife holds?
Shot in the head, probably not that bad, to be honest with you.
No, but if you
It's
don't
really
die,
bad for a few seconds.
Mhm.
Then you black out.
Depends on what caliber. 22, you might brain bleed. Anything higher than that, you're probably.
But your
dead.
body reacts to it, and you go into shock, so you don't feel it as bad.
Yeah.
I once met this guy who was like, I was at the gym one time. I was talking to this dude, and he said the most gangster thing ever. Someone said, "Oh yeah, are you ever scared like you might like fail or something?" And like he just goes like fail a lift or something and get hurt. And the guy just goes, "I only fear God."
Yeah, the only man I fear is God.
And then everyone just shut the fuck up. We're just like,
what else can you say?
That is pretty
What?
cool. No, I don't fear. You know what I fear? I don't fear failure. I feel never failing because that means I'm not growing.
No, it's like we were talking about because he said that he used to max out with no spotter. And we were like, what if you drop it and like it goes on your neck and kills you? And he's like, I only fear God. And it's just like, what?
I think that mentally allows you to do more weight. Like that thought process of like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Hmm.
Probably makes him like gives him the ability to do more.
That anabolic
Mhm.
steroid use really gets to your brain.
What about you, Big T? When you're staring down the barrel of a ice cold high noon, does fear creep into your mind at all?
I didn't fear death at that moment, but I have in the past.
Do you,
for sure.
Do you fear
I mean,
it?
it's just
do you
so
fear the concept of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the ultimate unknown thing. Like, and then the rebut to that is always, well, there were X amount of years before you existed, but then like, yeah, but you didn't know that. Like,
Mhm.
the only thing I know is existing.
Yeah.
So once you stop existing, like you don't. I don't know. Yeah, it's a very weird thing to think about.
I don't fear. I like the phrase like, every man dies, not every man truly lives.
Mhm.
Shout out Braveheart. I don't know if William Wallace actually said that, but
Definitely did.
he did.
No, he didn't.
Okay. Well, Mel Gibson said it, which is just as good. That's just a cool thing to say. I would like to believe that, but at the end of the day, I'm like, yep, I'm afraid of death. Definitely.
There is also like curiosity. It's
Yeah.
like if I get old enough, I may get to the point where I'd be like, what the hell's going on the other side? Like, I've been living on this earth for 80 years. Pretty freaking.
Well, and once you're old and like all your friends are dead, like you're like, I'm over it.
Yeah. At that point, I'll be like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. Like I feel like old people, like we're all young, relatively young people. Once you get like to 85, 90, you don't think Betty White, like also today was supposed to be her 100th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Betty White.
Happy would have been birthday. But you don't think at that point she was like, you know what? I've had my time. I've lived my life. He'll take me when he takes me.
Mm-hmm.
Like her husband's been dead for 40 years. I feel like at that point you're like, I just want to, I don't know, see what's going on. I fear that there's nothing and you just cease to exist and nothing ever happens again. And you just are a bag of bones in the ground.
Well,
All right. Anybody else want to bring this podcast up to a happy end? Give us something to be positive about. There's football on tonight. There's football.
There's football on tonight. Joe Burrow might wear cool glasses again this weekend.
The Cowboys lost.
The Cowboys lost.
Even though I put my credibility on the Cowboys. They have no credibility. But yeah, we have that to look forward to. Is
Joe Burrow might wear cool glasses again.
a week with no Cowboys
Cowboys.
games. All right, Joe Burrow, yeah, he'll wear cool glasses. He's just gonna do something cool. He's just cool.
Maybe he'll wear like a fur coat.
Yeah, I could see him doing
I
that.
can see him wearing a fur, like a long mink coat.
Yep. All right, Joe. I know you're a listener of the show. Wear that coat. Buy that coat, King. All right, we'll see you guys on Thursday for Macrodosing. Love you guys.